Welcome to the kill zone.
I feel the silence chasing me. Shadows follow me everywhere I go. Danger's near, I can feel it.
Say my name, feel that flame. Welcome to the kill zone. Welcome to the kill zone.
Looks like it's gonna be Brian Johnson brings it home. Holy mackerel, Brian Johnson, your World Series of Sim Racing League champion.
We come out of fourth. Who's going to get on the gas first? Can Yingling pass it?
Oh!
We fight through, and Levi Cox
Jeez.
comes away with the victory on our series finale. Larry Yingling, our season champion, will come in second.
Brian Johnson, he loves the low line. He defended it, he protected it, and get himself his second win of the season. Brian Johnson, but the driver that's the most excited, back in sixth position, across the line, the champion of season 4, Vincent Sora, gets it done. Down into turn number 3, Vincent Sora, he has been looking clean, not able to hold that white line like he wants. He's instead gonna put the dirty air on the back of the 28, who sends it for everything, but it wasn't enough. Your season 5 champion, Vincent Sora, for the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series Season 5. Go give it to the 15. The kid is a 2-time champ. As exiting out of turn number 4, it's Vincent Sora getting the win at the Freaky Fast finale, but all the way back in 3rd place, your Season 6 champion, the 3-time champ now, Larry Yingling, wins his championship for Season 6. But the driver that fought, climbed, defended for every race he could, Benjamin Nelson is your WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series Season 7 champion. And what a season it was. It's been talked about all throughout the playoffs. The monster has been awoken. Benjamin Nelson He was down 10 points, the biggest difference of all drivers entering tonight. He didn't have to worry after the contact that took out Brian McCann. Turned into a little bit more of a manageable fight. But off of 4, Benjamin Nelson, the 3rd driver in history in the WSSR, goes back-to-back. Championship winner for season 8 goes the 79 of Benjamin Nelson. A champion will be crowned. Will it be the veteran or will it be the rookie? Nick Crawford dashes his way forward. A win looks almost absolute, but for second place, Zach Hall trying his best to win a championship. Gavin Rogers trying to get to the outside lane. He's not there. Douglas Newbegin to the inside. Same for Aaron Smith II. Off of 4, Crawford wins, but Zach Hall finally wins a championship in the WSSR. Season 9 goes to Hall. As Vincent Sora, he will exit at turn number 4. He did everything right to win, but it wasn't enough. Instead, it's John Forbes exiting out of the corner. He needed 4 attempts to get to the finals, and he finally does. John Forbes is the Season 10 WSSR Cup Series champion. It's Gavin Rogers back in season 9. He thought he was going to have a chance for a championship. He was 2 points off behind Zach Hall. Merely just a few seasons later, Gavin Rogers is your season 11 WSSR VRS Cup Series champion. Congratulations to the 75. 1 point. And with all the controversy, the unwanted contact, it's the 75 that looms strong over them all. Welcome to the history books. Gavin Rogers, you've got yourself a championship. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the WSSR Cup Series presented by Elwood Designs. Season 12 has been creeping away and has finally given us the destination of Homestead-Miami Speedway for the final race of season 12 and the final race of the chase. And for the World Series of Sim Racing, a conclusion event. This isn't the first time that we've had to close the doors of the World Series of Sim Racing. Their first race all the way back February 15th of 2020. At the end of season 3, at November 28th of 2020, decided, you know what, we're going to close things up. We're going to go on a hiatus. A year and a half later, May 7th of 2022, the World Series of Sim Racing came back to give a space for drivers, to give an opportunity to show class, show speed, and have the best of the best of all the different series that we covered here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting to come to one place to have a proving ground to show their best. And from season 4 to today in season 12, we've had some of the best memories you could have asked for. That's what the video package that started this all off was showing off some of the greats, all the final calls of the championship winners. Tonight, we get to crown a new one. 7 different champions have won the championship for the World Series of Sim Racing. Tonight, an 8th one will be crowned. The question is, who will be that 8th driver? Will it be Ryan Kelly, Jarrett Talmadge, Jake Nichols? Those are the 3 favorites to watch out for. The question is, who steps up on the final race for the final season? Who is going to be there at the end? We're proud to give you all the racing coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me, and he's been here for quite a long time, it's Richard Wolsifer. Richard, it's crazy to say that the WSSR is closing their doors after this season, but it's been a pleasure to have you up at the booth, being one of my longest partners for the WSSR. How are you feeling? Are you ready for the final race of season 12?
Yeah, Sam, it's been a lot of fun. 3 years up here in the booth with you, and I do believe I ran about 2.5 seasons down there with the guys on the track. Definitely an emotional day, considering I was actually going to take a step away from the booth and go back out on the track with the guys next season. But when the news broke, it was, it was hard to hear for everyone, I assume, whenever they definitely got. But 12 seasons is a phenomenal run for these guys, and hope to see them back eventually. But I think it's a well-deserved long break for the admin team and everybody that helps put this wonderful league together. And it's going to be an exciting battle to the end with a very small points gap between first and third.
Yeah, it is a very small points gap, just 6 points being the difference. And we love when it's the last race of the season, kind of do the rundown of the numbers. This season, we've had a total of 37 drivers attempt to take the green here in the WSSR for season 12. Over 17 races. Tonight will be the 18th. And we're down to 3 drivers and 1 championship to be grabbed. Tonight's race going to be Homestead-Miami Speedway for 160 laps. No stage break, no fast repairs, 4 extra sets of tires and pit road in total to work with. And everyone's looking at speed. Who can truly find that momentum? And all drivers are chasing Ryan Kelly. The 3 machine has been on fire since the chase started. Kelly's stats are insane when you look at them, averaging an average finishing position of 1.8. This driver has only finished outside of the top 2 once in the 5 races in the chase. Can he continue that trend will be the key. Behind him, 4 points back, Jarrett Talmadge, the driver who finally got his first win of the season last week at North Wilkesboro. He's hoping to carry his momentum. He's been looking decently quick during practice, second fastest driver in practice, and fastest of all of the championship runners currently is that 27. But behind them in third in points, 6 points out, the biggest deficit of our top 3. He is the favorite when you look at every statistic possible. Just the chase has not been perfect like it has been for the other 2.
Yeah, it's been a rough chase for Jake Nichols. He has been the favorite all season long, and then the chase hits, and Ryan Kelly has just been on a dominant run since the chase has started. It's been really impressive to see the number 3 machine, how he's been able to perform on these final 6 races. Jarrett Talmadge also, another driver that has really stepped it up when the points really mattered and the championship trophy was on the line. Jake Nichols has got to have a perfect night, a season of perfection almost for him until the chase. He's got to get back to that kind of racing that he started this season off with.
And there's going to be, positioning wise, that's going to be key on who's going to have better points at the end of this evening. But here are some of the bonus points to watch out for. 1 bonus point if you get the pole, 1 bonus point for leading a lap, 1 bonus point for leading the most laps. And then if you win the race, that's 2 extra bonus points on top of all the others that you could be grabbing here tonight. But all eyes, and I've talked to all 3 championship contenders, getting the pole is the first challenge that they're all focusing on. And the confidence level really lines up with Ryan Kelly. He's feeling very confident in this race. He feels like that he can grab the pole. Jarrett Talmadge, who's the fastest currently of all the practice runs, he's feeling the least confident, even though he's been looking very good so far this chase. He's hoping to carry on that momentum. But Jake Nichols, 3rd fastest in practice. He's just behind Gavin Rogers, the fastest driver currently in practice, by 8/1000ths of a second. Nichols, we know, he's got the most poles with 7. Can he grab another one on his championship run? He's been in this type of scenario in many of different leagues. His whole entire iRacing career, Nichols has found himself being in the back foot, but finds a way to succeed at the end of the day. We'll see if the 73 has it done here right now as we are heading into qualifying. Drivers have 5 minutes to put down their fastest time, 2 laps to do so. And if Ryan Kelly, Jarrett Talmadge, or Jake Nichols gets a pole, this could be the chance to set the tone for your championship race here tonight. Richard, here we go. Here's going to be some of the main factors to watch out for. What are you looking for in these 2 laps that they have for qualifying?
You're looking to try to carry that speed all the way around. Jake Nichols, if he wants a perfect day, getting the pole will set him off on a perfect start to tonight's race here at Homestead. But his other competitors, Ryan Kelly, Jarrett Talmadge, they both have to try and go for that pole as well, because every point is going to be a huge matter tonight, because it can come down again like last season where Gavin Rogers won by 1 point, it can come down to one car, one position for the championship to matter. So getting this point into qualifying is going to be huge as we ride along right now with Thomas Green running about that second lane up currently as he comes out of turn 2. He's working on his first lap to try and see what he can set.
Some drivers are feeling like lap 1 could be their money lap. Others were saying you got to really perfect lap 2, and this is going to be the point to watch out for. All drivers are going to be on the inside for both laps for the money lap. They're going to be staying as low as possible. Get to that inside white line. Chuck Sweeney was the first driver across the line, but you saw Thomas Green off the exit turn 4 was staying high. He was setting up for this one lap for the 31 machine. Could he play a little bit of spoiler here? Ben Keeney, his first lap to be fast enough at 33.434. Not expected to be the pole time, but will be atop of the board currently. But here we go, Thomas Green gonna be trying to get low with a little bit of a wider approach, trying to get down to that white line perfectly, hits the white line, drifts up off the exit of turn 4, and this is what we are looking for all drivers. Chuck Sweeney at 33.081, gonna be the fastest time. Currently, Thomas Green will fall shy as Vincent Sora, the driver who has found his way into victory lane quite a few times in the last race of the season, a 2-time champion on his own foot, winning the championship back in season 4 and 5. He's hoping to find some wicked pace here as the 15 gets rolling for lap number 1.
Yeah, Vincent Sora looking to get back into victory lane. Unfortunate for himself, not in any mathematical chance at winning the championship tonight. But being that this is the last race for WSSR for the time being, every single one of these drivers, including the veterans like that of Vincent Sora, they want to be the last winner of this league. So every single one of them's got a goal tonight, whether it's a championship or whether it's going off on top before we say goodbye. Vincent Sora, a great run so far. Coming out of turn 4, got a little loose there. He's trying to get the fastest lap he possibly can. This is going to start his second lap as he dives down to the inside of turn 1. Nick Crawford to the top of the board, though, with a 33.058.
A fantastic time for himself, and John Forbes also going to be coming up shy for the 7 machine, as he'll be third fast, but Nick Crawford making a one-time showing this season. 74 was looking for an opportunity to race here tonight, as it was kind of an open door for all drivers. Hey, if you are a veteran of the series, if you want to participate in this last race, you've got a chance to get out there if you've raced before. Nick Renner, Nick Crawford, as well as Christopher Norris were looking for their chances. Jared Talmadge doesn't want to wait for lap number 2. Lap 1 puts down the fastest time, a 32.942 for the machine of Jared Talmadge. Confidence level might not have been high, but the speed is showing here as the 27 tops the board.
Beautiful lap from Talmadge with 32.942, especially coming out on the first lap and throwing that down. But now Jake Nichols, he is working on his second lap. 33.010 for him, starting currently back in 4th. But that is a killer lap for Jarrett Tallman, who's right along now with Larry Yingling. Larry, who has had some really interesting strategies during the championship, doing some run fuel call to try to make that work, but he's going to finish off his lap, it seems like, finishing at 6th place. It should start in the top 10 for himself.
Well, based off where the drivers are running right now, Ryan Kelly will fall shy. He's going to be 4th currently on the board. Jake Nichols will be all the way back in 5th place. Jarrett Talmadge, pole time. There aren't enough drivers out there going for a quick lap for themselves. Everyone's done. Jarrett Talmadge, goal 1, succeed. Get yourself a bonus point. And instead of a 4-point buffer, make it a 3-point buffer heading into the featured race. Fantastic job by the 27, who's been playing a little bit of second fiddle for most of the chase. He is making a statement here to start things off in the final race of the season. Qualifying's done. Your pole sitter will be the 27 of Jarrett Talmadge as we head into the warm-up 5 minutes before the race begins. 5 minutes gives us a chance to take a closer look of how the season's been, as well gives a chance of how the drivers are running here tonight. And I gotta say, we're gonna take a look at who our favorite drivers are going to be overall tonight for the championship. We're gonna start things off with who we feel like are those to watch out for. And I'm going to go with the 3 machine, Ryan Kelly. He's my pick to win the championship, but Jared Talmadge really tried to change things up here. Here are our drivers that we think will win the championship here tonight.
Yeah, Sam, that is a fantastic pick. I'm gonna have to go with Ryan Kelly as well. He has just been on a dominating run all chase long, and it's just going to be exciting to see what he can do starting back from the 4th position.
And our own producer, Robert Moyer Jr., he will pick the 27 of Jarrett Talmadge as his driver. Not a bad pick. The guy who just got the pole looks quick. That's a excellent pick by Robert. As wild to see how this season has been. A lot of different things have been changing up and down. 16 drivers made it to the chase, but we've dwindled it down to 3 that are the favorites. 5 mathematically are still in the fight for a championship. They just need a lot of things to go right. And those other 2 drivers being John Forbes Jr. and Brian McCann, with Jarrett grabbing this pole, doesn't help their likelihood of winning the championship, but they are still mathematically there if Ryan Kelly, Jarrett Talmadge, and Jake Nichols all fall outside of the top 15. But Ryan Kelly, top of the board, he's got a good shot right here, right now.
Yeah, he definitely has a really good shot. Again, 2 drivers really outside of the points factor of making the championship. But if everything goes their way, they could still pick it up. But they've got to hope for a really bad race for Jake Nichols, Jarrett Talmadge, and Ryan Kelly. But I do not foresee that happening tonight.
And we'll continue to touch on these points, but let's take a little look at the schedule for these drivers and how we got to this point. It was all dominating. From Michigan, for our first 8 races, we were on the current Gen 4 car that iRacing put out this year. But then we felt like that car really wasn't producing the racing we wanted to see. It wasn't close racing action. It was kind of just the driver that was ahead would win. So we changed up to the Legacy Gen 4 from Indianapolis at race 9 to now. It has been incredible racing. It's been close. Everyone's been on top of one another. And it has really elevated everyone to having a chance for this championship. And it's given us to where we are now, just 6 points, the difference of our top 3.
Yeah, we touched before, switching cars in the middle of the season is usually never a good move, but watching and seeing how the racing was, it just seemed like the guys could not make any passes in the current new Gen 4 car that they added into iRacing. So the switch over to this Legacy has brought phenomenal racing. It has brought new drivers to the front, those that we're seeing normally, and has really shaken up how this championship has been able to play out. And it's been a really exciting and a huge, really great decision by the admin team to switch to this car.
And the admins have decided here during the warm-ups, we're going to take a photo op. So drivers are currently on the front stretch. That's where all the smoke is currently on screen. Drivers are getting in line for the photo op to be a part of the class of season 12. All those that made it to the final race are trying to get in line, getting shotted. Some are going to be behind others, but you can see them having their fun. This is kind of the joy of the last race where everyone, it's the last hurrah of we're togetherness before the madness of the green flag hits these drivers.
Yeah, this is a great photo op opportunity for these drivers. I mean, it's a great memoriam for WSSR to take this photo of all the last drivers in this final race. It would be great to post, see it on social media and everything like that. But this is the calm before the storm. This is the nicest. You'll see all these drivers all night more than likely, because once that green flag drops, it is a chase to the checkered flag for a top 3 in points.
Well, there's the number 1. That's the driver that won this championship last season, Gavin Rogers. And he's going to have to let that crown go away as the drivers do a little bit of a burnout celebration. 38 seconds left in practice, so have your fun, have your joy. But Gavin's number 1 going to be lost to one of the 3. Will it be Ryan Kelly, Jarrett Talmadge, Jake Nichols? All 3 drivers so different on how they've got to this point. Ryan Kelly's career, he did a couple of one-off races back in season 1 and 3, then fully committed to full-time racing from season 7 to now. You look at the likes of the 27 of Jarrett Talmadge. He started off with his career starting off in season 10 to now here in season 12. And then the rookie Jake Nichols, the driver we saw in the off season when he signed up, he was going to be a favorite to watch out for. He's the number 1 or tied with number 1 in almost every stat you possibly can look at. Will the 73 step up and find his way into victory lane and have his competitors have mistakes? Or will we see Jarrett Talmadge, Ryan Kelly duke it out for the championship? Want to say thank you to some of the sponsors that are tagging along for season 12, that being our title sponsor of Elwood Designs. Elwood Designs, it's been around since 2012, and they are wanting to help the community in iRacing to have a way to create their own liveries. Go check out all the baseline liveries on Facebook at Elwood Designs or at X at Elwood Designs, or you can go personally look up Alan Elwood's simrapmarket.com design at simrapmarket.com/designer/Alan Elwood. We also want to say thank you to our qualifying sponsor. They've got a lot of drivers out there, and they've got 2 in the hunt for a championship. That will be Lucky Duck Motorsports. Lucky Duck Motorsports is your qualifying sponsor, and they've been helping drivers out with joining the team. You can find yourself with getting some money rewards as well as other bonuses. They love to help you cover, if you join Lucky Duck Motorsports, cover your league fees, and they want to be able to help with so many different charities. You can see some of the charities that they're partnering up with from tiltify.com on all the Lucky Duck Motorsports team drivers out there. You can find more from Lucky Duck Motorsports on X at We Are Lucky Ducks and on Instagram at Lucky Duck Motorsports. Thank you so much for being our qualifying grid sponsor, as here is your starting grid for tonight's race, for the final race of season 12 and for the chase to crown a champion. Jarrett Talmadge taking the bonus point with grabbing the pole here tonight, and for Jarrett, it's a good one to grab as he has been on the hunt to find himself getting up front for a pole. This will be his first pole of the season, and what a time to grab it. To his outside will be the 24 of Ali Fonseca. Behind them will be Vincent Sora in the 15. Favorite for Richard and myself, going to be Ryan Kelly starting in 4th place. Then you've got the driver 3rd in points, 6 points back from Ryan Kelly. Jake Nichols starting in 5th. Larry Yingling will start in 6th. 8th, the 8 machine starting in 7th will be Brian McCann. 8th is the 74 of Nick Crawford. Chuck Sweeting in 9th, and finished out our top 10. It's the 7 of John Forbes.
Gavin Rogers back in 11th with Thomas Green in the 31 machine to his outside, sitting in 12th. Back in the 7th row will be Cedric Hunter and Brian Noel sitting 13th and 14th. Ben Keeney, Tyler Dingler will round out row 8. Row 9 is going to be Brian P. Johnson as we see him return to the track right next to Zach Hall sitting in the 17th and 18th positions. And to round out the field, Christopher Norris and Nicholas Renner 19th and 20th.
20 drivers have appeared, which gives mathematically still a chance for John Forbes and Brian McCann, but they need everything to go right, and not grabbing the pole did not help either one of those drivers. But both of them, mentality-wise, I think they're both going to be in the way of how do we help our team drivers. Brian McCann going to be teammate of Ryan Kelly, part of the Cody Glencox's music racing team. Then on the other foot, you've got Jarrett Talmadge, Jake Nichols, part of Lucky Duck Motorsports. How will they find assistance maybe from John Forbes or other drivers, as a little bit more of a photo op? Drivers are going to be given an extra lap of pacing for the 4 wide salute around here at Homestead. As everyone gets in line, gets ready for tonight's race, you are watching the World Series of Sim Racing presented by Elwood Designs here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. What a time it's been. Freaky Fast Broadcasting's been covering the World Series of Sim Racing since season 1. And we are here for the conclusion of season 12. Crazy to see the journey us here, the broadcast crew, been of how we've grown, and to see how the league has grown, and to see these drivers in line. We've watched so many of these drivers go from can we even finish a race to championship hopefuls. And here tonight, we close the door of season 12. We hope that the league doesn't fully shut off, but if this is the final race, the final call of this series, we tip your hat to all the admins, to all the viewers, to everyone who's participated in some way with this league. Thank you for everything you've done to help us get to this point. And Richard, this is a time that is a blast to call the championship race, but it's also heartbreaking because this could be the last time that we get to call the names of the WSSR Cup Series.
Yeah, it'll definitely be the last time we get to call these guys for a while. They might find other leagues and race with each other elsewhere, but to see all these guys on the same track in the same race, I mean, it's going to be awesome to call it. Can't wait to see who we can crown champion tonight. But, you know, we were looking forward to season 13, and it's going to have to go on break for now. But until then, let's hope these guys give us a phenomenal race to call for one more time.
If you've never seen a race at Homestead, this track's pretty unique. It's got progressive banking, meaning that on the very bottom, the banking is going to be with less degrees. On the outside, it will have more degrees, banking from 18 to 20 degrees of banking. On the straightaways, there's 4 degrees. The track in distance, 1.5 miles long. And these drivers have 160 laps to complete. Now, if we have a caution with less than 5 laps to go, we will have overtime if needed. But can the drivers keep it clean and green? That's kind of been the standard for the WSSRs for season 12. Is not a lot of cautions. That means that this race is going to come down to pit stops. It could come down to green flag racing. And how do you keep yourself out of trouble? Richard, any final thoughts before we get ourselves to green flag racing?
Pit strategy, pit strategy, pit strategy. We've seen it play out extremely well, especially for our championship contenders. And we'll have to see who comes out on top with the right pit strategy to keep you with the fastest pace and up front.
The World Series of Sim Racing. Over these 12 seasons, over 221 drivers have attempted to grab a championship. Tonight, we crown a new one. Who will be the 8th champion? Let's find out. Green flag in the air for the final race of season 12. Jared Talmadge with a good run down into turn number 1 as they try to get single file out. Who will be the champion? Who will be the victor? And Jared Talmadge trying to make a statement here early on in lap number 1. The 27 looks good to grab another bonus point for himself. A lap led on top of the pole. This is the start you wanted for this 27 team as he watches everyone battling side by side off the exit of turn number 4. Give the bonus point to the 27. Talmadge is set as we roar into turn number 1.
Be a 2-point difference between him and Ryan Kelly now based on just bonus points. But if we look at the total points, he would be the point leader right now. If the race ended right now, of course, we've still got over 150 laps to run, so that's not going to happen. But if the race did end right now, Jared Talmadge, a phenomenal start for himself up front, leading this race, would be the champion. But he's still got Jake Nichols, who is looking to get around Larry Yingling and chase down that 27 as another lap lead for the 27.
Again, most laps led is just 1 bonus point. Then if you win the race, that's 2 bonus points. Here is our live points tracker that we are going to be trying to have up for most of the night to give you a live look of where the points are at. Now, these points are not attributing to the 2 extra bonus points for winning the race. That will be added at the end of this race, but this is a good sign to see where the drivers are at and where they can be running. A few drivers attempting the outside row. That's Chuck Sweeting as well as Nick Renner. Talk to Nick Renner, trying to get a sense, what was he going to be doing with his one showing here tonight? And he said, I'm going to utilize the top and see what he's got, and doing just that as watching the 57 doing his best to stay on the outside. 76 as well up there, having their fun in the middle of the pack as everyone else single filing out and all trying to stay low and protect your tires. But the battle for the lead is about to ramp up as you see the middle of the pack getting jostled with everyone running the inside. It was kind of causing a little bit of cluster on where drivers were at, but Larry Yingling, I was talking to the Cody Glenn Fox's music drivers, and Richard, I heard the fact of Larry saying he felt quick, but he knew he was only going to be fast for about 15 laps, and then his tires were going to fall off, so he's got to utilize his speed early.
Yeah, he's going to try and get up front here. He will make the pass on the 27 machine, and now he can utilize defensive driving, really. Take away the line from Jared Talmadge. Make him go somewhere he's not comfortable going, and now you can try to save your tires a little bit unless you want to stretch that gap out, but 15 laps is where you're going to start losing your speed is what he had predicted, so I mean, he's got to pay attention to that, not overdrive the car too much. Maybe he can get another 5 or 6 laps out of those tires and stay up front in front of this field.
And falling back to Nick Crawford as well as Nick Renner, both going to be on the outside, just trying to find momentum and speed to maybe push forward, grab a couple of positions before they fall in line on the inside groove. You're seeing a couple of more drivers attempting to just dive bomb their way. And just, you can see the middle of the pack. This is the most dangerous area of everyone because everyone's trying to back off, save their tires, but also try to be aggressive at the same point. And it's just causing this traffic jam that we see on screen.
I mean, it might be a traffic jam, but this is fantastic side-by-side racing. This is what we love to see, as it looks like they're about to go 3 wide with Renner going to the outside there. Nick Crawford on the inside. A tap from John Forbes. Oh, he able to save it. Looks like Renner gets the wall a little bit also, but they keep it straight and they stay green. So that's great driving by every single one of those drivers.
And the best thing about this is all these drivers are really not a part of the championship. Yes, John Forbes is a part of the championship hopefuls that want to get into victory lane and hope for a little bit of trouble, but gonna hop on board with Nick Renner, get a sense of what the 76 is doing on the outside. A little bit of counter steer, trying to keep those wheels underneath them as he throttles up off the exit of the corner. And with Homestead and the way that we've been seeing these legacy vehicles run, you've got to be careful off the exit of the corner because the rear ends want to loop you around.
Yeah, and we actually just saw a moment right there, or I did. The 00, Brian Noel, he got a little loose coming out of turn 2 and smacked the outside wall pretty heavy. You can see the damage on the right front there, and he's back into the wall again. He has got to have some major damage and some trouble with the steering on that touring car.
You can tell the steering is off, the way that he's just snapping quickly inside and outside, trying to find where the true feeling is of this vehicle to settle down, but it looks out of control. We might be seeing this 00 be the first driver to have an early exit and head to pit road. That's Brian Noel. Not the way he wanted this last race to go. Not even 10 laps in, and heavy damage for himself. Up front, still Yingling leading the way, almost 2 seconds ahead of third place and fourth place runners at this moment. And got a feeling if you are Blair Yingling, leading laps is helping the 3 machine of Ryan Kelly, because that's taking away the potential chance of most laps led bonus point being given to the competition.
Yeah, and that's great because that's a teammate also of the number 3. So if he can get up there and take away laps led from these other chase contenders, that's going to help the number 3 machine heavily. It's not going to allow them to have a better chance of getting that 1 extra most laps led points, and it gives Ryan Kelly a chance to let the long run work in his favor. He is one of the faster long run drivers we have in the field. We see him laid back in the early stages of these runs during the green flag, and then he slowly creeps up and he's able to get around these guys. So I think with Larry Yingling being up there in the lead, leading these laps, this allows Ryan Kelly to get his pace set up for the long run and be able to catch up.
As Nick Renner utilizing the wall on entry and through the apex, the 76 not looking comfortable up there, but there's really no real estate left on those tires. He's just got to stay up there at this point. As watching John Forbes, Gavin Rogers, the 2 drivers that competed for the last few seasons for championships. Gavin Rogers winning by 1 point last season, winning here at Homestead, as Nick Renner makes more contact, not just with the wall, but now going to make contact with John Forbes, our season 10 champ. You just see everyone off the exit of the corner just trying to find any footing possible not to run into one another, but it is looking difficult all around. The big momentum runs that the drivers on the outside are getting, just being stuffed as we continue to stay 2-3 wide in the middle of this pack. But watching of the battle up front for the lead, it's still equal distance from where it's been at, but the driver in 3rd and 4th starting to close in on our top 2.
Nichols trying to catch up to the 27 and the 67 machine, and he's doing a good job at it, running just slightly faster than the leader. But Ryan Kelly actually running faster than the 3 cars in front of him. So he's doing a really good job of maintaining his pace, keeping those tires happy, and him and Jake Nichols are trying to move themselves forward to put themselves in contention, as they both were faster than the front 2 runners.
Update for the 00, Brian Noel now is officially headed into pit road after making even more contact with the outside wall. Hate to see it for the 00, but he's going to get service done and park his way in. And this almost snuffs out a chance for, this almost officially takes out John Forbes and Brian McCann from the championship, as they still need to see Jared Talmadge, Ryan Kelly, as well as Jake Nichols all finish outside of the top 15 and not grab any more extra bonus points. As seeing a few drivers now flirt to the outside, those that were kind of being religiously down to the white line now attempting a little bit higher as the change for the lead is underway. Jared Talmadge not waiting any longer, rips the top, takes the lead position. Also was seen Cedric Hunter in the 13. He was trying the outside. Thomas Green attempting up there. Starting to see a couple of pink machines just testing the waters on the outside run.
Yeah, they're trying to see what that outside can do with them, or do for them with these later set tires. I mean, you saw Nick Renner. He had been running the outside all race. He is starting to slowly slip back, though, I think he might be burning those tires up way too much, whereas all these other guys running the inside, they've been able to maintain a good tire saving run for themselves. So they, he might get the better run on the outside, but it's trying to hold that car up there on the line. The other drivers are able to drive through the turn a lot smoother, just doesn't have the run off the exit. So outside can work, but not for a long run, I don't believe.
I want to give a shout out to Noel. He officially types in the chat, in the driver chat in iRacing, saying, "Thank you for the memories, lads. It was fun, even though I won nothing." But that 00 was out there for a long time here in the WSSR series. He ran a total of, counting tonight, 90 races with the WSSR. Never got that win that he was alluding for, but got 7 top 5s, 14 top 10s. It was always a pleasure to see the 00 grow as a driver throughout all this time. But officially, Noel's WSSR season is done as we move up and continue watching the fun battle just inside of our top 10. But we might want to move up to the battle for a second, because Jake Nichols has now moved up into second position. Kelly's now getting by Yingling, and it's the 67 hitting his wall after 15 laps. He's heading backwards.
Starting to slowly head back. He's said about 15 laps, and there it is. He has lost 4 positions, or three positions, back to the 4th position now. But Jake Nichols, Ryan Kelly, they have both closed the gap on Jarrett Talmadge. Little by little, Nichols is closing in on that 27. He wants to be able to have his chance to get a bonus point, because he needs to close that gap heavily. He hasn't got a bonus point yet. Nichols sitting on 2 bonus points. I'm sorry, not Nichols. Talmadge sitting on 2 bonus points. Nichols is trying to gain some, because he's got a bigger gap to gain to Ryan Kelly than Talmadge does.
See those live points again. That's not accounting for Jarrett Talmadge. If he won, if the race ended right now, would get 2 extra bonus points. And so for the 27, this is the prime situation you could ask for. At the end of this race, he's got to be hoping that he's the one that wins. Nichols maybe just falls in second. Kelly falls to third. We'll continue to watch and see how this battle concludes here tonight. But your top 3 in points are the top 3 here tonight. This is usually how the final race unfolds. All the drivers that know that this is the most important race of the season, put the practice in, set yourself up for victory. And here they are, all 3 in the same shot. This is your championship. Who is going to have the perfect run to finish this out?
Yeah, that's definitely what they're looking forward to, is that perfect run. Ryan Kelly, again, he's looking for that longer run, going to take this look at the pit strategy for himself as well. He knows he's able to keep pace with Jake Nichols. Nichols has chased down Talmadge now. That gap is less than a half a second. They're sitting about 3/10 from each other. So Nichols is definitely catching up to Talmadge. That pass should happen probably in the next 5 or so laps, I would assume. But, I mean, Talmadge is almost under fire from his 2 competitors.
Trying to stay stable at this moment. Talmadge, I mean, is being out here for as long as he has. This isn't the worst case scenario you could have. I mean, you're up front, you're leading laps. This is the best thing you could ask for. You already got 2 bonus points. Trying to get your 3rd with the most laps led. No, it's still early on, but, talking about pit stops, that's been probably the most impactful thing for this whole entire chase. Drivers that can really maximize their pit stops have found their way into victory lane. That's pitting in that, what I like to call the Goldilocks effect of right in the middle. Seems to be the favorite spot that drivers are looking for, not the driver that's super early or super late whenever they head into pit road. It's the driver that can find that middle ground of having good tires compared to those that pitted early, but having a big enough gap to those that waited too long. As another driver calling it a night, Nick Renner in the 76. Showed up, put on a show on the outside for the first handful of laps, and we'll call it an evening for himself. We appreciate Renner for showing up for the last race of the season.
Yeah, thank you, Nick Renner, for showing up, making this field a little larger for the start of the race. Tyler Dingler also in the pits himself, has been in for about 1.5 minutes now. So Tyler Dingler also showing up for the final race of the season. A great run from himself. Good to see him back out on track, but oh man, jumping back here to the 98 of Ben Keeney, a driver who has been trying to get faster each and every single race. We have seen little bursts of speed at times from himself, but he's definitely here. He came here to learn. He's trying to get faster, and it's great to see him still out on track regardless of his position.
a community favorite. Everyone loves Ben. They always were hoping that Ben finds success in finding the speed, but just to have him around is such a community boost for himself. Here's another driver who's making his one run. No sponsors needed. It's the 38 of Christopher Norris. Norris is he's had a wild iRacing career that we've been able to document here on Freaking Fast Broadcasting. We've watched him go out, win races, almost win championships. And at one moment, we thought he was going to be a driver that might get banned from some of the madness of kind of getting caught up in wrecks and intentionally wrecking people. Just couldn't find a way to finish a race. The 38 has grown up, and it's been great to see himself grow up throughout iRacing. As we got to move back up front because Jake Nichols has made the pass. And Ryan Kelly might be the next one in line to try to make a move for second place, as Jarrett Talmadge does not want to lose that top position. Big run on the outside, but not big enough to make an attempt to take the lead back. Nichols is strong and looking to lead a lap and to get that bonus point to equalize to Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, Nichols able to get the pass around Jarrett Talmadge, and so far Jarrett Talmadge has led the most laps, which is why that point difference is still only 1 after losing that spot to Nichols. So Ryan Kelly, I mean, if the race ended now, he would definitely win the championship because Talmadge would not be getting those 2 points of winning the race. But Jake Nichols able to get a bonus point for himself. He will close that gap in now, and it is only a 3-point spread technically from first to third in the points with Nichols running up front. But if Nichols wins this race as well, if they finished right now, he would tie for second, and that would put a 1-point difference from the top 3.
And that would be a fun little breakdown to watch these drivers on the tiebreakers. We would have to go look up what the tiebreakers rules are because I don't have them right on hand currently, but a couple of clicks on the computer, I could find those real quick for these drivers. But currently, Jake Nichols wants to lead the most laps. Right now in this run, we're about halfway before green flag pit stops, giving him the number of around 45 to 50 laps on fuel is kind of the call for a lot of these drivers. We'll see when they decide to make that call for pit road, because I think tires are going to be the big thing to watch out for. I mean, Richard, looking at lap times, the whole entire field, 29 laps in, 28 laps in. We're about a second and a half, some of these drivers' fastest laps.
Yeah, the tire fall off has been quite huge for these drivers. A lot slower from when they came out on the track. I think Jake Nichols has probably got the smallest delta from majority of them. Actually, Ryan Kelly would be of the top 3 at least, with the 33.2 is as fast as running 34.7 right now. Still a second and a half, so some serious tire fall off from these guys, and you know they're definitely going to be looking forward to making some moves when they can come in and get some service done.
And first driver to take service gonna be the 98 of Ben Keeney. He'll be making his first pit stop, so we see Ben near any leaders. We can see that difference on speed as our leaders currently still run up front. Other close battles that are happening throughout the field. The middle mid-pack, still a cluster. Ollie Fonseca, Brian McCann, they're having a duel for 5th place currently. And this is kind of odd to see Brian McCann this far back. This 8 machine, I think he was coming into the chase, the expected driver to be the one challenging Jake Nichols for this championship. It just never came to fruition. The finishes weren't clean for the 8 machine. Wasn't able to challenge recently in the last 5 races. It's been tough, but I think the driver that has outshined the rest of our championship hopefuls, Ollie Fonseca, what a run he's had during this chase. Really performed when a lot of people might have just thrown him out as really not a contender in any of the races we went to.
Yeah, Ollie has really been impressive since the chase started as well. I think one of the biggest highlights, Ollie Fonseca, that I have noticed himself, he is a very hard driver to pass. I mean, a lot of people could probably say you could probably match Ross Chastain almost in the real NASCAR series. He plays really, really strong defensive lines, takes away the momentum lines away from drivers trying to pass him. He does not make it easy for anybody who's trying to get around him, and that is what has really helped him score some really great finishes.
Getting a little squirrely is the 8 machine of Brian McCann. Big save for himself as Vincent Sora now will try to set up the pass on the outside. But I would say for Ollie, he's been slowly growing into that maturity of how to defend properly, because he's had moments in the past where maybe it was just selective drivers that he would race a little bit more aggressive. He's now opened up the catalog. Everyone is free game to try to hold back, especially in the early runs. We're going to move back up front for the battle for the lead because they're seeing a little bit of changeup of where the drivers want to run. Our leader, Jake Nichols, no longer running the inside groove. Jared Talmadge moved down there. A little bit of closing in the distance. Trying to put some pressure is Jared Talmadge to Nichols, and it looks like for the 27, he cooled off those tires after being passed, and he's finding some new life to challenge our leader.
He's finding some new life, but what they don't see is Brian Kelly has been running slightly, not this lap, but he was running a little bit faster laps than the other two each lap. But Jared Talmadge and Jake Nichols, they are about dead even on their lap time. So this is almost a stalemate between those two. Ryan Kelly still trying to find a line to catch these guys. It seems like he's been saving a little bit more than them. He doesn't have as much as a faster line, and he really hasn't been racing anybody hard. So Ryan Kelly still trying to find his groove and how he wants to race this race to try to catch these two to get up front.
As they continue to brawl back and forth, who is going to be the driver to take the chance to pit first is going to be the big question. We've seen that the Cody Glencock's drivers, that's Larry Yingling, Brian McCann, as well as Ryan Kelly, they're willing to pit early. Larry Yingling's kind of been on the opposite foot. I should take that back. He's been the driver that stays out the longest. But Brian McCann and Ryan Kelly have really been open to pitting earlier. And I'm curious as drivers if maybe there will be a change up of ideas of let's try something. Hey, Brian, you pit early. Let's see what the difference is after this first pit cycle. While for Ryan Kelly, he might pit when the other two ahead of him go into pit road.
Yeah, that is a huge benefit to having a lot of teammates, or some teammates that were with you, especially when you're the one running for the championship. The other two don't really have a chance or aren't even in the fight. You can kind of run strategies with them. Have one, like you said, have one pit early, have one pit late. You kind of pit in the middle and then adjust the amount of laps you want to go forward or back and see what works best for yourself. So, I mean, it's a great idea to try and use that strategy. We'll have to see if that's something that they try to use later in the race. But, I mean, if anything, Brian McCann will probably pit first, followed by Kelly, and then Larry Yingling is going to run that fuel load all the way out as long as he can.
He certainly will. It looks like for Tyler Dangler, officially out of this race as he's been in there for multiple laps and currently 16 laps down. I want to give note to Tyler Dangler, who's had a long career like Brian Noel, 71 starts. Tonight would be his 72nd. Had one top five, didn't get a win, but a top five last season at Talladega. Almost able to steal it at the end. It wasn't the case, but had a total of 9 top 10s. Certainly a long decorated career for Tyler Dangler, who showed up, trying to have fun when he can, and is always a blast to have in the chat when he's having his own jokes or is just helped entertain us up in the booth at moments in times. As the field's starting to spread out a little bit more, but we can keep our sights here for the battle for 8th. We're Thomas Green, Gavin Rogers. They have their duel going on. I've seen once again different lanes, different approaches through the corners, and seeing that it looks like the outside is prevailing through 1 and 2, at least with 3 and 4. You can see Rogers, if he was able to keep this foot in the throttle, maybe could have challenged that 31.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Trying to get out of the exits. The person who can control that car while getting the throttle down smooth, steady, and don't have to get off it, they're going to have a better run coming out of the turn. You see Thomas Green all the way to the outside wall here in turn 1 and 2. Gavin to the inside. They're going to be side by side, but Green will have that momentum down the backstretch, so Gavin can't make the move there. He's got to try and figure something out here in 3 and 4. As you see Brian McCann looking to the inside of Ollie Fonseca. Ollie's not going to allow him to kind of run up the track there, but Brian McCann going to the pits. He's going to be hitting early for Cody Glencock's Music Racing.
Not surprised to see that it's also following in suit. Going to be Brian P. Johnson in the 28, our season 1 champion of the WSSR Cup Series. Been here since the very start. And always thought maybe he would get a second championship. It just never happened throughout those seasons of 4 to 7. That really was another strength of the 28. Not going to be the case of this season, but we always love seeing Brian out there on track. And we'll see with the 8 and the 28 what their pace will be. As with also seeing Ben Kinney already pitting, that could also give us a little bit of a guesstimate of who will be the next to pit and where drivers are running, as Vincent Sora and Christopher Norris going to be the next drivers, and Zach Hall into pit road.
Huge call for pit road. I feel that the top 3, they have got to make their decision in the next 2 to 3 laps to come down pit road. But the problem is who's going to bite first between these 3, because that's going to really decide who could potentially win this race between these guys. Who's going to be the first one to dive down to pit road? and neither one of them, they're still going to stay out on the track. I think it's going to be kind of wait for Jake Nichols to pit before these two decide they want to pit. I think Jake Nichols just needs to run it out as long as he can.
Well, I'm also curious on what maybe these drivers are thinking about. I'm curious if we can hop on board with the 3 machine of Ryan Kelly as he's attempting trying to make a pass on Jared Talmadge. What is the fuel looking for these drivers? Again, the number I was given was anywhere from 45 to about 47 was a clear window if you weren't really saving your fuel. I'm not seeing any clutching going on, but certainly the pressure. And here we go into pit road. Talmadge, we're also going to be seeing Kelly side by side into the entry. Don't want to get caught speeding. That could throw away your championship immediately. Ollie Fonseca as well going to follow in suit. But I was curious if you're going to see anyone try to push the fuel out. Maybe try to cut a little bit extra on that last pit stop later on. But it's right here on lap 42 into 43 where we see the 3 of the 27 make their stop. No sliding for either driver. Clean entry into their box, and now the pressure will be on Jake Nichols. Do you pit this time, or do you continue to stretch out the fuel?
Yeah, this is he's going to continue to stretch out the fuel, it seems. I would have expected him to pit the lap after he saw those two guys dive into the pit road, but he must know something or feel something a little better, or he's just trying something. He did have an okay gap between them that he could run maybe a lap or two before he comes down pit road. That'll help him in the longer run. Little bit of a step out there coming out of turn 2 for the 73 machine, but I can predict he will probably come into pit road as you see him dive down to the inside. He was on the outside last lap. This might be his time to come down and get service. He should take this hard left, and there it is. Heavy brake down onto the apron. It's coming in for pit road for the 73 as he locks it up, trying to get in.
Traditional as always, Jake Nichols putting on a spectacle onto pit road. Maybe it's not his favorite way to get in, but he has been the driver that is the most aggressive on entry and always does a smoke show and able to survive. No black flag for the 73. That's the big positive. We'll see if that helps him gain any more time as he locks up and slides a little bit into his box. The other two are much more smoother. Which one's going to be the quicker of the two, as Ryan Kelly was able to pass Jared Talmadge off of the exit of pit road. So big gain for the 3 machine as Vincent Sora also in the mix. There's Brian McCann. The drivers that pitted within a lap or two between one another are still in this pack as Jake Nichols leaving pit road and will be quite a margin behind this group that exits out of turn number 2.
Oh man, that is a negative net gain for the 73 machine, so he's got to figure out what he can do to get back up. He's got the longer pace, it seems, but I think this early pit might benefit these guys a little more. We'll have to see as they, try to run these green flag laps down as the number 3 machine made the pass on the 8 of Brian McCann, who is trying to work his way back up forward as he is currently in front of Jared Talmadge as well.
More drivers going to be exiting pit road here as Larry Yangling, Chuck Sweeting, as well as Nick Crawford made their stops. And now the full pit cycle has concluded. Your leader right now, the 3 of Ryan Kelly. And it was all because of the pit sequence and how it concluded. The 3 going to get that bonus point back, which will take away the equalizer of leading a lap that was hoping to help out the 27 and the 73. Not going to be the case. Ryan Kelly has led a lap, and that's a bonus point for the 3 machine.
That evens out the bonus points across the board for them. None of them have the benefit of having a lead lap over Ryan Kelly. So now the only ones that they can get, they've got the pull for Talmadge. He's currently got the most laps led point as well. The only other bonus points that are on the table now that can benefit any of them is the 2 for winning. If you want to win this championship, I think it's going to come down to who wins this race.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that is going to be the big thing that's going to help the driver win this championship. And it always feels like you got to win the race to win the championship. You're looking back at the history of the WSSR Cup Series, though. That's not always the case. It is very rare that the driver that wins the race also wins the championship. It's only happened just 2 or 3 times. And I'm curious if tonight's going to be another one that gets etched into that history books of this very historic league. 12 seasons. Who wants to be the 8th champion? Those 3 drivers at the bottom of your screen. Those are live points, not attributing with the 2 extra bonus points of a race win. But that's only if those drivers win this race will get those 2 bonus points. Is Christopher Norris looking a little bit out of sorts since 38, going to fall back just slightly. falling outside of the top 10 as Brian P. Johnson will take that position for himself, and Gavin Rogers, Cedric Hunter set up to get by this white Ford machine.
Yeah, Cedric Hunter's trying to get around now the number 1 machine and the 38. They're both trying to get around the 38 machine. Christopher Norris doing a good job, but Gavin Rogers, a great run to the outside. He might be able to have the momentum coming out of the turn. He's going to get the outside of the 38, and he should be able to clear him coming out of turn 2. So a great move from Gavin, but Norris is just going to go ahead and concede it and let him have it.
Concede, lets him have it, and just trying to survive the evening. It's going to be the big thing for these drivers. Again, Christopher Norris got an older set of tires, pitted a little bit sooner than everyone else. Wasn't the first driver, but was a part of the second group that went into pit road as Cedric Hunter goes to the top. One of the drivers that waited slightly longer to head into pit road and rewarded with fresher tires, trying to rip the top, find a way to build the momentum. And there's the Hello Kitty machine. A very memorable finish in the ISRC Truck Series days Cedric Hunter had, stealing the win. The 2-for-1 special out of turn 4 back in season 2 of that Monday series. One that I always think back to, but Cedric Hunter never was able to be crowned a champion. Almost got it done in season 10. A driver that's been here since the very beginning, one of the admins since season 1. And Hunter right now running in 11th, and we've seen if Cedric can finish the race, he's usually in the top 10, if not always in the top 5.
Yeah, Cedric Hunter is another really, very consistent driver for himself. He really hasn't found his footing this season. Was still able to seems like make the chase, but just could not close that gap to get even more points and try and make an actual attempt to win this. But still, very consistent driver, fantastic driver and personality. And you got John Forbes back here in the number 7 machine as he's got around the 24 of Ali Fonseca. He was champion 2 seasons ago, back in season, I believe it was, what did I say, 10? 9?
It was 10. Season 10 when he grabbed that one. That was when he was battling Cedric.
Yeah, so, I mean, he started the number 1 machine, defending champion, get to drive the number 1, was unable to defend it last season when Gavin Rogers took that title from him, and that's why Gavin is in the number 1 machine. But John Forbes, a phenomenal driver, really fast. And we're back here with Gavin, who is battling Zach Hall, who 3 seasons ago barely beat out, and won the championship for himself in the 32 machine.
Yeah, Hall, that was that Las Vegas win. Both of them on old tires, able to escape away with the being ahead with Zach Hall over Gavin Rogers, which Rogers that season was trying to be the rookie sensation at over half of the poles that season. He was just on rails in the Gen 7 car, but came up just a little bit shy. It wasn't until, last season, a couple of seasons later, when he finally was able to be crowned champion, which we knew was going to happen at some point. But moving over to the Gen 4 here for season 12, didn't reward the one, but he has been able to find his way in victory lane at least once this season, back at Auto Club a few weeks ago. And the one just wanting to finish out this season the best way he can, which is with the top 5 finish. A win would have been optimal, but qualifying didn't go his way. And right now it's just survival mode.
Yeah, Gavin's just in survival mode. We're jumping up here back to Jarrett Talmadge. He has been passed by Jake Nichols. Nichols back on his momentum, trying to catch up to Ryan Kelly, who is leading by just under 2 seconds. But the time difference, about 0.2 a lap. So in about 10 laps, you can expect them to be battling for the lead. But Jarrett Talmadge just seems to be losing a little bit of his foothold as Nichols is slowly starting to walk away from the 27.
And with all the bonus points that have been taken away, positions lost because drivers have called it a night early, we can officially now count John Forbes, Ryan McCann. A fantastic season for both of them. Maybe it didn't go the way they hoped overall, but their championship hopes are officially done and dusted. The 3 drivers in the bottom third of your screen. That is your 3 that are left to see who will hoist the championship for season 12. And Ryan Kelly, Jared Talmadge, Jake Nichols, they are your top 3 currently. And looking at the difference, I mean, Ryan Kelly pitted 2 laps sooner than Jake Nichols. Looking at lap times, about a 10th slower is Kelly to Nichols, but this is a very good gap for the 3 machine over the 27 because those 2 drivers were right on top of one another when they exited pit road.
Yeah, when they exited pit road, they were right on top of each other. So Ryan Kelly has got a beautiful gap from him and Jake Nichols, and the time difference really isn't at, detrimental for himself currently, but he is starting to lose a little bit of time. Does have a great run down the backstretch. Nichols not able to get the power down, it seemed. He's able to expand that gap just ever so slightly. But Nichols, it just seems like his drive into the turn is much better than that of Ryan Kelly. But Kelly's doing a really good job keeping that gap to Jake Nichols up a little more and just trying to stay up here in front. He wants to try to lead the most laps and take that bonus point away from any other contender.
And speaking about hoisting the championship, well, Season 12 in the last few seasons have been made by Sim Precision Prints, our white flag sponsor for the WSSR for Season 12. Sim Precision Prints is your one-stop shop to go find yourself some custom 3D printed sim gear and one-of-a-kind pieces of art built with passion and precision. They are going to be your trophy provider for the championship and all crown jewel events that have happened for the WSSR. They have been incredible pieces of arts that you do not want to miss. If you haven't seen some of the championship trophies and crown jewel trophies, go check out WSSR's social medias. But if you'd like to find yourself with your 3D printed sim gear or one-of-a-kind pieces of art, head on over to simprecision.shop and use the promo code WSSR at checkout for 10% off on all purchases $50 or more. Sim Precision Prints, precision prints, performance delivered. Thank you so much for a white flag sponsor. As here's Chuck Sweeting, a driver that has won all the way back in Season 1 on a fuel mileage call at Auto Club. And every time we see Chuck and there's a chance for fuel mileage back in the day, he was a threat. This guy knew how to save fuel, save tires. This season has not gone the way that he would hope, but running in 16th, Chuck, one of the major veterans of the WSSR, trying to finish out this season with finishing the last race this Season 12.
Yeah, Chuck has been really exciting to watch this season as well. We've seen bursts of speed from him here and there, but I mean, it's great to see the 57 out here running his race still. Really hasn't had, like you said, an opportunity to truly show what he can do with fuel saving, as majority of these races have been pretty much green for the most part. We've had very, very few cautions all season long, so it's been really hard to try and pull a fuel strategy out for himself. We got the 27 here, or the 28 here, Brian P. Johnson. He is trying to chase down Cedric Hunter. He's going to look to the inside of the 13 Hello Kitty machine, try to make a move and take away that 11th position away from him. But Cedric Hunter's going to have the outside, should have the momentum out of the turn and not allow Brian P. Johnson to get that position.
And watching Brian, he has been repping the Trophy Smack scheme. He's been having those colors on, and it's brought him some great luck into victory lane at Super Speedways. TrophySmack.com, your place to go to find even more trophies. If you're trying to find your way with positive, you won the championship, or some troll, we got you with a little bit of a haha gag trophy. You can find them all at TrophySmack.com, especially for fantasy sports. And if you're looking for sim trophies, you can find them there. Their product right now that they want you to check out is the Wall Smack. Their Wall Smack is a metal-plated, glossy work of art that you can put on your wall with their magnet-safe system, or you can find your stand to put it on shelves, desks, anywhere you feel like you'd like to. Go check out what you can put on your Wall Smack today at TrophySmack.com. And remember to use the promo code WSSRSmack for 10% off on your Wall Smack at TrophySmack.com. Brian B. Johnson, Cedric Hunter, admins of the WSSR Cup Series, trying to finish out the season with the top 10 here tonight. As they got the looming Christopher Norris behind them. But as the racing goes on, we've got to move up to the battle for the lead. It took over 20 laps, but Jake Nichols has caught our leader, Ryan Kelly. You are under pressure, you're under threat, and it's the driver with better tires that it's now on the call, and this is a great showing. I think for most of the field, you can give up a couple of laps. You will catch up to those drivers later on in the run.
Yeah, Jake Nichols is showing a great showing of that. Ripping the outside. He's going to cut down a little bit off the wall. Try to get that run down the backstretch. Ryan Kelly straight up to the wall from the inside. He's going to give him that draft, but it just seems like this might have stalled out just ever so slightly. Ryan Kelly might have some life in those tires left. We'll have to see. Nichols looking to the inside. Oh, getting close to that rear bumper of Ryan Kelly. Going to try to pack some air onto it, but they're going to keep it straight. No contact there, and another drag race down the front stretch. Nichols going to follow him back to the inside of turn 1 and 2 and see if he can get some run down the bottom.
What will Jake Nichols have here off the exit turn 2? You can see the counter steering, trying to keep this thing straight as possible. You might be wondering, well, that car is just pointing in the wrong direction with the steering wheel. That is the offset, one of the ways that you can affect the car, and some of the only few ways that you can make some changes. The offset, brake bias, those are only the few things that you can change with this vehicle, as everyone's running the same setup. And with a huge run off the exit turn 4, Jake Nichols with the run to the inside. And the 73 trying to clear for the lead, but Ryan Kelly, can he fight back? No, he gets in line. Is there any chance of a crossover move? No, it's Jake Nichols in complete control.
Jake Nichols back to the front of the field, takes that away from the number 3 of Ryan Kelly. Kelly doing a good job still. He was able to maintain that lead for a little bit. But right now, I mean, he's got the points he needed to try and cushion himself to win this championship, but he can't lose any more positions. He can't allow Jarrett Talmadge to get back up there and try and challenge for the lead as well. He's got to try at least to stay in front of Talmadge and not allow him a chance at winning this race, because I think even winning this race, it's going to be really hard for Jake Nichols to gain these points. He's got to hope Ryan Kelly starts fading back heavily, but it's a big thing to ask from a driver of the number 3 who has been so successful in long-run pace.
I mean, it's so hard when you've got a driver that has finished inside of the top 3 every race, and his worst finish in the chase is 3rd. He was finishing in the top 2 before that finish for the 3 machine of Ryan Kelly. I mean, he has been on rails since the chase began, and Ryan Kelly started off with a dramatic winning by 7 1/1000ths of a second over Jarrett Talmadge at New Hampshire, and then found his way, missing out on a win at Auto Club, but second there, wins at Texas, gets 3rd at Charlotte, finds his way in the top 3 once again at North Wilkesboro last week. The 3, him finishing in the top 3 is the worst case scenario for any of the championship contenders.
Yeah, when you have the stats that Ryan Kelly has on this chase, I mean, you got to hope that he starts having a bad day, because he's going to finish in the top 3. Statistically saying he's going to finish up there in the top 3. So these guys have got to try and fight. I think the best chance any of them have to beat him is going to be Jarrett Talmadge. He's got to get up there and lead the most laps and win this race with Nichols staying in front of the number 3 machine. I think that's about the only way that Kelly would potentially lose this championship, is if that happens, because he's just been so consistent ever since the chase has started. Like you said, a 1.8 average finish since the start of the chase. That is just an insane number to take.
It's so hard to comprehend how insane that is. That is difficult to do at any track you go to, and to be doing that on a 5 race streak, and right now continuing the pace with that 1.8 is even crazier, as Ryan Kelly, a little bit of a more shallow exit at turn 4. Trying to keep it close, but our top 3 all within a 1.5 seconds of one another. So the closest battling is just outside of our top 10. We do want to give a little bit of love to John Forbes. Again, he was part of the top 5 in points here tonight. He's going to be challenging with Brian McCann to see who will get 4th and 5th in points by the end of this evening. But John Forbes, a quiet season, not the way that we usually see that 7 run. Got a handful of wins, and now is just going to have to watch the top 3 challenge for victory. Here's going to be some of the drivers going back and forth. Who can make the big passes? It's the 74 of Nick Crawford. He's got fresh rubber, pitted 3 laps ago, and there is the difference of fresh rubber to old. And that is a 30-lap difference between the 74 and the rest of the field that he just passed.
Yeah, that is just insane to see what fresh tires can do. With, he's only been out there for 4 laps on those fresh tires. Everyone else 34 laps-ish, about 32 to 33 on average. So that is just a wild speed difference from new tires to old tires. And he grazes the wall a little bit coming out of turn 2. But Nick Crawford is burning it down, just trying to run his race with these fresh tires and see what he can gain.
And I like the call from Nick Crawford. I mean, try something different here. You're all the way back. You saw an opportunity to pit early, compare the rest of the field. I think everyone else is going to be out there for another 6, to probably 10 more laps before they hit pit road again. Some might even go a little bit further than that. Why not change up the strategy? Instead of a 3-stop evening, go for a 4-stop strategy night. You got the tires to make that call work. Nick Crawford changing it up as he's the first driver 1 lap down. The rest of the field still waits to make their pit stop. As you can see, Nick Crawford having his fun. I want to drop to take a look at the driver in 5th place. That's Vincent Sora. You know, talking about history books, there's a lot of history for the 15. He started racing in the WSSR Cup Series back in season 4. Showed up and became a monster of sorts. Found his way winning 2 championships back-to-back season 4 and 5. Took the most winningest driver crown from Brian P. Johnson and Larry Yingling. And this 15 has been on rails. He hasn't found his way into the championship hunt in a while, but going to have 27 wins over his 107 starts. A crazy stat for the 15. Finds his way into victory lane almost 25% of the time that he's out there on track in this series.
Yeah, 25% win rate for the 15 machine is an insane percentage. I mean, not a lot of drivers can say they've won a 4th of the races they've been out on track. As we jump back now to Zach Hall in the 32 machine, he barely squeaked into the chase and just hasn't had a very strong chase for himself. He's kind of just out there having fun. We've seen him actually call it early at quite a few races actually when the chase started. But Zach Hall, you know, one of the admins, owners of the league, just phenomenal person, great driver out on the track, also just not able to find his footing for this season.
Yeah, 12 wins in total for Zach Hall, most starts of any driver in the series. Tonight going to be his 183rd start for himself. And certainly crazy to see all of the wins, getting the championship back in season 9. I know that was kind of the high moment for the 32 to finally get that monkey off his back. And able to hang that over some of his other admins that weren't able to get into victory lane for championships. But when we talk about the greatest of all times, the battle is going to be between Vincent Sora with the most wins, or is it Larry Yingling with the most championships? Yingling will loom high above all other drivers, the only driver with 3 championships in the WSSR Cup Series, a feat that so many have tried but will never touch unless we come back after this season, which won't be for at least, we know, for at least maybe a year or so.
Yeah, when you're the only driver with 3 championships, and that's the most championships of any driver, that instantly puts you as the GOAT of the WSSR Cup Series. You might not have the most wins, but consistency is what helps win championships, and that is exactly how Larry Yingling has scored all 3 of them that he's got. So, and we see it a lot also with his consistency. Not really so much this season. He's always just kind of been on the back foot, but, you know, still, you know, greatest of all time for the WSSR Cup Series.
I mean, Larry was so consistent. He finished inside of the top 10 for every race he started. He was in the top 10 for 4.5 seasons. It was insane to see. Sad to see when that streak got broken. But here we go. Pit stops underway for our second green flag pit stop run. More drivers into pit road. As we've got Thomas Green, Ollie Fonseca, Christopher Norris, Nick Crawford already made a stop, and also Brian McCann making his stop a few laps ago. And here we go, Ryan Kelly. He will be the first driver to hit pit road. This was actually not what I was expecting from the 3 machine. I thought he was going to go further. He's going to pit about 5 laps sooner than the window was supposed to be for this 3.
Yeah, that is really early than what I was expecting also for Ryan Kelly. But, I mean, this could be a strategy call that he's discussed with the team. And we'll have to see how this plays out in the long run. But this is extremely early by about 6 laps, I would think, to see him come down pit road.
And following immediately into pit road will be Jake Nichols. Wiggle wobble, but he'll find his way, not getting a black flag as he heads into pit road. That will lose some time. That is not the most efficient way that you want to get into pit road. Staying out will be Jared Talmadge, so he'll continue on counting his laps that have been led. And looking at laps led counter, I mean, this is going to be close between those top 3. And we're going to keep an eye out on when that official number will be dropped later on. But they've been going back and forth. And for Jared Talmadge, he needs to stay out, lead more laps. That most laps led bonus point could be the make or break for this 27 if he's going to get the championship or not.
Yeah, this is definitely a dire need for him to stay out, try to get some more laps led. Downside is he's going to have a huge gap back from Jake Nichols once they get through the pit cycle. Hopefully, though, this staying out a little later will allow him to have a longer pace than that of the 73 and the 3 machine, but he's got to pit in the next lap or two because he's about to let the number 3 machine get a lap back naturally.
Yeah, already getting back on the lead lap is Ryan Kelly, and that is not what you want to see. Ryan Kelly even ahead of Nick Crawford, who pitted 14 laps sooner than the 3 machine. Just showing the gap that has been built out, and looking back to the 73 of Jake Nichols, I mean, he's done a great job with his pit entry, way that he got out of pit road, able to stay ahead of the 3, which was the main goal for himself. That is the biggest positive you can take away from Nichols. You have fresher tires, and you're almost a second ahead of the 3 machine.
Yeah, that was a perfect stop for the 73 machine, able to get out in front of Kelly and stay out there, have 1 lap fresh tires as well. Looks like 27 Talmadge. It's time for him to come down and get some service done as he's coming in really hot, but he should be able to get down in time. No black flag for the 27 as he comes in to get some fresh rubber and some full fuel.
It's the pressure in, and luckily for these drivers, iRacing has a little bit of a grace period. If you are slammed on the brake, you can actually be over the speed limit, but you gotta slow down. It is a time based from your marker of when you hit pit road to a certain point further along. If you're faster than that, they will catch you speeding, and you got to be careful of going a little bit too quick. Jared Talmadge, Vincent Soar, Gavin Rogers, all gonna get their service done. But for Ryan Kelly, I mean, this pitting sooner strategy really backfired. You got to assume he was hoping Nichols and Talmadge would have stayed out longer.
Yeah, he was definitely hoping that indeed, as he's going to lose a ton of ground, as even John Forbes, Brian McCann, they all get around. Thomas Green even around Jarrett Talmadge as he falls back to the 9th spot currently as he merges back out on track. But Ryan Kelly, he's losing a little bit of time on Jake Nichols. Now, again, I still think this is going to benefit Ryan Kelly overall. I don't think Jake Nichols can win this race and win the championship if Ryan Kelly's sitting in second. So, I mean, Nichols has got to hope something happens to Kelly for him to be able to win this championship.
Man, you got to think for Ryan Kelly, that kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off. You knowing that I don't have to win the race. I see my competition. I just have to stay close. And if I'm not close, at least stay in second. And that gives such more of a wide open world to work with instead of having to be the best of that night. Being the second best helps out on at least the pressure slightly.
Oh, it definitely does. And speaking to Ryan Kelly, we spoke to him, I mean, every single race of the chase. He's been up here talking to us in the booth after the race. Every single race that he's been calm, he's been collected. He knows what the goal is, and that is the mindset that I think whenever he's in the car, that's the same mindset and the same kind of calm, collected soul that guy is for each race. I think he knows the point situation. I think he knows where he needs to finish to be able to hoist this trophy.
I gotta say that the calm factor is really the thing that kind of helps with the Cody Wilcox's whole group. Those guys are all pretty calm overall with one another and how they race. There's at moments they'll get their elbows out, but even as drivers on track, they're not really wanting to even rustle anyone else's feathers on top of just surviving the night in their own outside personalities. It certainly is a time for the drivers to put on a show. Larry Yingling, the greatest of all time, runs back in 13th position, but this field about to get ready. When do you want to make your final stop of the night? Some might have two. I think Nick Crawford might still have 2 more pit stops before the night is over, but everyone else, 1 more pit stop. A lot expecting it around that 120 lap window. But for us up at the booth, I think we will step away and take our 1 commercial break of the evening. This has been an incredible season of getting to watch these drivers put on a show. A season of memories, a whole entire league of memories all coming together. How will it finish out for season 12? We'll find out when we come back. We got more championship racing here at Homestead. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Cup Series presented by Elwood Designs. Season 12, Chase Race 6 of 6 tonight. It's the finale from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Who will be crowned the 8th champion of the WSSR Series? Will it be Jake Nichols, who leads the race, Ryan Kelly in second, or third place runner of Jarrett Talmadge? All three you can see on the bottom of the screen. Those are live points, not accounting for if one of them wins. They also will be given 2 extra bonus points for winning the race. If none of them win, then that bonus point will be given to a different driver. But currently, the field has been going through a green flag cycle. Let's bring up our race report to get a sense of how the racing has been so far. 0 cautions, but we've seen a couple of lead changes with the 2 pit site sequences we've had so far. So we have been clean and green for 106 laps, which has been the trend of the season. If we're not at a short track, we're staying clean and green. If we're at these mile and a halves or bigger courses, it is all about pit strategy. When do you come into pit road? How do you save your tires? And how are you the fastest at the long run? And currently, that's Jake Nichols leading the charge. But that is not where he needs to be there, but he needs some of his competition falling backwards. Look here at our weather conditions. 82 degrees air temperature. Fahrenheit 91 is the track temp. We've just been cooling off. It was around 110 during the practice session. Now down to 91 coming to the end of this race as the sun is starting to set, and it's starting to set for the end of the WSSR season, and also for the league, as they will be shutting their doors after this season is over. Going to be on a hiatus mode. Who knows if we come back, or this could be the final race of the league. But with me up at the booth, my name is Sam Dyer. I also have Richard Wolsifer with me and Robert Moyer Jr. running production in the background. But Richard, here's our top 5 currently. It's a lot of lucky ducks. They're in our top 5, but we also have Ryan Kelly from going to be from the Cody Glencock's music racing team, and Category 5 racer Vince Sora up there with the lucky duck drivers of Jake Nichols, Jarrett Talmadge, and John Forbes. But this certainly has been an interesting one for 108 laps so far.
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting race. I mean, the top 3 is, again, the top 3 in the points as well. The cream is rise to the crop for sure when it's coming down to the final race of the season. The downside for the drivers like Jake Nichols, even Jarrett Talmadge, I think, they need Ryan Kelly to fall back. They need some of the competition to catch up to them and get around that number 3 machine as well. Jarrett Talmadge right now, he's got a teammate just behind him, so he's trying to bring him up with him to bring some more competition up and try and run this number 3 down. But right now we got Gavin Rogers. He's trying to have a final race, blowout for himself, trying to get around the number 8 of Brian McCann back here for the 6th position. But Gavin Rogers, again, he's got a win on the season back at Auto Club. He's had, a very slow start to the season. It seems he's picked it up a little bit since the car swap, but he just was not able to find his footing here in season 12.
No, it just really wasn't there with the Gen 4 and the legacy ARCA Gen 4 machines that are running this season. A complete difference from what he won his championship last season with, as they were running the next Gen 7 Cup car, and getting to test their skills, prove who is the best of them all. And Gavin really has been trying to find his own footing. The driver behind him that he just passed, Brian McCann, was the first driver that we thought was going to be the competitor to challenge Jake Nichols. Brian McCann was the first driver, it felt like, in almost 5 races to actually pass Jake Nichols in an actual green flag on track, not a pitch strategy call pass, which was impressive to see. We thought maybe the 8 was going to be the true contender. Not going to be the case, but here tonight, just trying to finish things out with the top 10. For a driver who one moment was a threat, but here tonight, just the survivor of the evening.
Yeah, Brian McCann, again, like you were saying, he did show a lot of speed about mid of the season. First driver to pass Jake Nichols, like you said, and we were hoping to see him do better. He still didn't do bad. It's still a season that he can hang his hat on and say, he did really well on, but just kind of falling back a little bit here now, just kind of lost his footing where he needed to be. As we jump back here to Brian P. Johnson making the pass on Cedric Hunter in that Hello Kitty machine, but he's not letting him take it easy. He's trying to make another pass on him as he dives down to the inside, as they are door to door. It's the closest we've seen a lot of these cars when they're side by side, as these two come off the turn side by side in the drag race down the backstretch.
It's so nice when you've got a driver you can trust. These two drivers, Brian P. Johnson, Cedric Hunter, teammates of Category 5 Esports, teammates in a lot of different leagues as well, and friends for a long time. You really know each other's tendencies, and they're hoping to survive the evening as they're putting on a show right now. Brian P. Johnson on the outside, the red and white Dodge, trying his best to continue moving forward. One of our biggest movers so far here tonight, up 6 positions. Other biggest mover is Christopher Norris, right behind him in 12th, up 7 spots from where he qualified. But Brian B. Johnson, with this pass on Hunter, would put him side as the biggest mover currently as he completes the pass. But that Hello Kitty machine ain't giving up on the inside, still trying to put the pressure, and it's all about the exit right here, if Johnson will hold position or not.
Yeah, that's the greatest view right there. You can see Cedric Hunter tried to have a little bit of a stronger entrance, had to get on the brakes a little heavier about midway through the turn, and that's where you see Brian P. Johnson able to carry the speed and get back into the gas a lot sooner, and that's what allowed him to get the momentum and stay in front of the 13. So great pass by him, as you see great view of Cedric Hunter trying to counter steer, keep that car going as straight as possible. And that's the biggest thing with these ARCA Gen 4 Legacy cars, is they've got a lot of torque and a lot of power. In order to get this car to turn the right way, you've got to turn a lot of counter steer. You're turning right to basically go left to keep that car going straight. And that's a great view to see what these drivers have to deal with.
It's such a thin line of keeping your speed, but of just throwing your race away. Counter steering is all about the feel, who can feel out the vehicle to have the best run off the exit of the corner, and also has the trust in their own abilities to keep their foot in the throttle while counter steering and getting a good shot of that. And honestly, racing like the pros. And if you'd like to feel like you're racing like one of the pros, well, go check out GTR Simulators. GTR Simulators is where you can find yourself with stationary racing rigs, as well as compacts, fold up and store away racing rigs, where you can put your racing wheel, your pedals, and get out there in the sim world racing. Head on over to GTRsimulators.com. Remember to use the promo code WSSR for 10% off for $100 or more used at GTRsimulators.com. Don't miss out on your chance to upgrade your rig and race like the pros. And that's going to be all of our sponsors for the Season 12. Thank you again to Elwood Designs for being the title sponsor for Season 12. To Lucky Duck Motorsports for bringing out so many fantastic drivers to race out there on track, as well as being our grid sponsor. I want to say thank you to our white flag sponsor, Sim Precision Prints. I also want to say thank you for longtime sponsors of GTR Simulators and Trophy Smack, and everyone else who's partnered up with the WSSR throughout the years. Big ones that come to mind: Roasted Gems Coffee, as well as VRS for joining up for the last couple of seasons. It's been great to see sponsors that have tagged along for maybe for one season. Some have been along for multiple seasons, and to be where we are today, it's been an honor again to give you the calls, all the races on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the WSSR Cup Series. As the field continues to race on, we're getting ready for our final pit stop. Some have already made their final stop. Nick Crawford, Ollie Fonseca, they're supposed to take this run to the very end. Our top 13 still need to make their final stop of the day, and Zach Hall officially out of this race. He's been done for quite a while, but the 32 is done for this season. And I know he's happy to call it a season, as he's not been the quickest in this car, but excited to dig into the offseason, rest, enjoy not being an admin, because that is a stressful position to be in running these leagues.
Yeah, that's going to be a great break for Zach Hall, and it is very stressful being an admin, running a league, trying to get sponsorships lined up, getting the schedule squared away, and taking care of penalties. That's probably one of the hardest things I think admins have to deal with, is handing out penalties. They say sometimes it's easy, but sometimes you just hate handing out penalties to drivers for the next race. So a great break is coming for Zach Hall and the admin team. We hope to see them back and hopefully bring back the WSSR, but if they don't, I mean, it's all good and fine. I'm sure they'll find their time to race again. But beautiful shots from the sunset here at Homestead-Miami for this finale here at the WSSR Cup Series.
It has been a great time to watch these drivers. The sun is setting in the book for the WSSR Cup Series, about to set as well. And it's Jake Nichols leading the charge. You can see here a little bit of an action of drivers that have pitted and those that have not. Larry Yingling, Chuck Sweeting, and a few others trying to find their footing off the exit turn number 4 on the front straightaway. Nick Crawford gonna be getting a good launch for himself, but Larry Yingling, Chuck Sweeting continue to keep it close on where do you want to place yourself, as this is the battle for 10th and 11th currently on screen. But a little bit of a change. Exiting pit road and now into his box. It's our top 3. Jake Nichols will wait the longest before he enters pit road. The first of our top 3 to pit was Jared Talmadge. A lap later is this 3 machine. A little bit of a slide on his tires. That might hurt himself off the exit, leaving pit road. But now we wait for Jake Nichols. When does he make his stop? And it's now a lap after the 3.
Roy's locking up heavy. We'll have to see if that's a black flag. I was looked really hot into the pit road, but no black flag for Jake Nichols. Definitely thought he might have been speeding there, in my opinion, but iRacing, no black flag for him, making another wild pit entrance. This is the last pit stop for these drivers tonight as our top 3 in the championship. Their service will be done when the 73 gets back out on track.
I'm telling you, this guy just wants to make a show at pit entry. That's why every time we talk to him at the end of these races, I bring up pit road. He always wants to put on a show, and it's a thriller when he enters in. Vincent Soring making a call. He's going to be heading into pit road. Same going to be for John Forbes. He'll follow in suit. As Ali Fonseca, he's already made his stop. He'll go around another slide, but save for John Forbes as he enters pit road a little bit hot. But both the 7 and the 15, they're good. No black flags for either one of them. This has been probably the scariest pit entry we've seen these drivers have for a couple of weeks. And they are making it work with no black flags being given for these drivers.
Yeah, honestly, we could probably just make a highlight reel on pit entry for these drivers. There's been a lot of wild entries. But again, doing a great job showing the skill that they have, the control of their car, and knowing where that yellow cone is, getting into pit lane, able to control the speed and get down to that pit road speed entrance. But right now, Thomas Green, the 31 machine out there in the lead, still not coming down pit road. He's going to stay out there and run a few more laps until he comes down and gets his service. He's been out for 44 laps.
Yeah, our top 5 still yet to hit pit road. Cedric Hunter going to be the next one of our top 5 to enter in. That's going to leave us with 4 drivers: Thomas Green, Brian B. Johnson, Chuck Sweeting, and Larry Yingling. And looking at those 4 drivers, Chuck Sweeting can stay out there for quite a long time. He was one of the last to pit. He's got about 8 laps of extra time to stay out based off of the last time he pit. But you saw there when we quickly switched over, he's got a handful under his belt as this 57 is just drifting off the exit of the corner. And that's a sign pit road is calling. If you are losing control of your vehicle, you don't want to stay out there for too long because you could be losing touch, but Sweeting stays out for another lap.
Yeah, you don't want to be the driver to bring out a caution at this point in time in the race. So, I mean, pit road is definitely calling their name very soon. Thomas Green, again, out there for 45 laps, 43 for Larry Yingling, Chuck Sweeting out for 33. So he's got a little bit newer tires than all the other guys, just not able to keep those rear tires underneath him as we got right along with Brian P. Johnson. He's sitting in 2nd place. He's been out for 41 laps, waiting to see when his decision is to come into pits as he's going around for another lap himself.
Into pit road, going to be Thomas Green. We want to give a report of our championship 3 drivers. Ryan Kelly currently leads all drivers that have made a pit stop right now. Here's your live points on where the drivers run currently. We're still waiting on our top 3 to head into pit road, being Brian P. Johnson, Chuck Sweeting, and Larry Yingling. But of our championship drivers, Ryan Kelly stays ahead, about a second ahead of Jake Nichols. And for the 3, that is a prime position to be because he's also 2 seconds, Ryan Kelly, 2 seconds ahead of Jarrett Talmadge. That is a beautiful window to work with if you're the 3 because you also have fresher tires than the 27.
That is a great window to work with, but that is, I mean, that's a shorter gap than what they had when they came into pits as well. So Jarrett Talmadge, he made up a lot of time as well on pit road. But, you know, it's more impressive that Jake Nichols came out behind Ryan Kelly. That was just an impressive stop from the number 3. He was able to get in and get out quickly. and be able to take the lead away from Jake Nichols on the pit road stop. So this is the exact spot he wants to be. He's got to be able to save these tires, try to make these tires last a little longer than Nichols. So, I mean, I think he's pretty much locked in. I won't say that, actually. Don't want to do the commentator curse, but Kelly's in the right position he needs to be in right now for him to be able to raise that trophy at the end of the season.
Hey, we picked the driver. We don't want to curse the driver. We don't need to do that. It's Ryan Kelly, holds strong, currently in second place, still waiting for Brian V. Johnson, who's expected to pit here in the next lap or so. He's been out there for 44 laps. He's slowing down the 28 into pit road, and that will give the lead back to the 3 of Ryan Kelly, who is trying his best to win the championship. Kelly has made the chase every season that he has ran. He has been there, done that, but yet to find his way to winning a championship. All 3 of the drivers that are in the hunt yet to win a championship. You've got Kelly, who is the biggest veteran of those 3, been running full time since season 7, and this legacy Gen 4 ARCA machine was when we started to see Kelly step it up, be a threat, be a driver to watch out for. When we moved over to the Gen 7 machine, that's kind of when things tapered off. There was still speed at some tracks, but it was more specialty tracks where we saw this 3 step up. But when we return back to this legacy Gen 4 in the middle of this season, Ryan Kelly emerged as that driver to watch out for. When the chase happened, this 3 erupted into a legacy driver that just was in a dominating form, like days of old of the WSSR, where it was just one driver winning almost every race, or at least in contention for every race. And honestly, this has been the biggest shock of the chase. Ryan Kelly step up, and Jake Nichols still looking for his first win in the chase.
Yeah, Jake Nichols has not won in the chase, which is something we did not have on our bingo card at all. And like you were saying about Ryan Kelly, it was very specialty tracks where his speed was showing in the next gen. And it's typically your tire-saving tracks like Dover, tracks that you had to take care of the tires. Well, ever since the Legacy Gen 4 car, you've had to take care of your tires. This car can really eat away on that tire wear heavily, and he's been able to manage it extremely well, better than a lot of the other drivers, and especially in the chase. And he's just showing how much skill he actually has. But Jake Nichols now putting the pressure on right on the back bumper of that number 3.
And I talked to all 3 of the championship contenders on how they felt confidence-wise, what do they need to do here tonight. And for the 73 of Jake Nichols, it was put the pressure on my other competitors. I feel relaxed. I'm going to try to keep my head down, perform the best that I can, but I need to put the pressure on them. I can perform, but I need those other drivers to make mistakes. And right now, we're seeing Ryan Kelly getting the pressure on. Nichols not just going to easily make the pass on the outside like we've seen for most of the night. He's going to hound that rear bumper, make Ryan Kelly use those back tires, wear down your chance to win here tonight. And Nichols playing some mind games on the 3 of Ryan Kelly.
I think Ryan Kelly just has to ignore the mind games from the 73 machine. Honestly, if he wants to cut down on the mind games, just let him by. Don't worry about looking in your rearview mirror. Just let him by you and just follow in his tire tracks, because you do not need to win this race to beat Jake Nichols in the championship. As long as you can stay right behind him in that second spot, Jake Nichols winning this race should not guarantee him the championship. So I think the best strategy for Ryan Kelly, I mean, he's doing everything he can to stay in front. Everybody wants to win this race, and I get it. But when a championship's on the line, play the smart game. Just go ahead and let him by and just follow him around.
And what's also helping Ryan Kelly, with Jake Nichols not passing him, that's another couple of laps being put underneath this 3 machine. I mean, it's still wide open to grab the most laps led if you're Ryan Kelly. If you lead all these laps to the very end, this is a chance to grab another bonus point if you're the 3. While if you're Jared Talmadge back in 3rd, you're losing ground. He's been forced to run the high side all the way up to the wall, and he is losing time. Those older tires are just no longer showing the grip. Talmadge is watching his competition drive away and watching his championship fade away as well.
Yeah, Jared Talmadge, this is heartbreaking to see for the 27. We have seen him gain so much speed and time throughout the second half of the season, able to catch up and just make this championship exciting. And it's just slowly fading away with a 3.3 second difference between him and second place of Jake Nichols. He just hates to see that.
The lights click on, the sun is dropping, and it is time for the racing action to slowly come to a conclusion. We're almost coming up to 20 laps to go. 20 laps to see who will be crowned a champion, who will step up. And Jared Talmadge is throwing it away into the outside wall, just scrubbing time, losing ground. And now we'll have another lap car trying to get by the 27 and Talmadge. This is heartbreaking to watch, but he's got to hope that he doesn't bring out a caution here at the end. But a caution does come out. This could breathe new life for the 27 who grabbed the pole. He's the fastest on the short run. Oh man, what a caution could throw away. A caution is what's hurt Nichols all throughout this chase. Could a caution be what hurts Ryan Kelly here as more lap cars are piling up behind our leaders? They don't want to make the pass this late on in the run, but they know might as well get by, so we're not the one who causes issue.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if a caution does come out, Ryan Kelly has got to change his mindset of racing. We usually see him lay back and let cars pass him on the shorter run, and he's able to gain the positions back on the later run. But I think if a caution comes out, he's got to change his mindset. He's got to focus on the short run speed instead of the long run pace, as he, kind of pushed the 73, not pushed, but followed him up the outside track, took the line away as the 57's looking low to get back a lap back from being a lap down, and so is the 28 machine. These guys are laps down. They're not really in contention for the lead, but they're just going to easily get by, not try and be a factor or the incident causer, as they're just being patient, getting around as the 3 and the 73 are just on the outside, letting these guys go around.
Running the outside, trying to stay away from that outside wall, as Nichols at the apex was quite close. Kelly, though, a very clean just way that he stayed close to that outside wall, not trying to scrub too much time. But Jake Nichols drops low. Now looks like he's attempting to go for the pass, and maybe Kelly's being told the numbers because the 3 is no longer trying to stay low, trying to defend this position as aggressively. And I'm curious if anyone's going to let him know, hey, you guys are losing, you're building a gap over Jared Talmadge. Your biggest threat is out the way. All you have to do, Kelly, is follow the 73, and this championship is all yours.
Yeah, that's all he's got to do is follow the 73, and that might be what he's trying to do now. But, I get it also. Every single one of these drivers, it would be an awesome feat to be the last winner for the WSSR. So, it's a nice little chip on the shoulder to have. But Ryan Kelly does look like he is going to just concede, just going to run his line now, let Jake Nichols run away, get this win, and he's just going to run his race now, run his line and drive the track the way he wants to, and he can easily pick up this trophy as long as there's no mistakes or a late race caution. I think Ryan Kelly could easily secure this.
And as Nichols kind of just gets in his own mode here with less than 20 laps to go, make it 18, Nichols is trying to just pull away. Kelly is kind of in a situation where he could just fall into no man's land and kind of just run his own race, keep himself out of trouble, while the drivers behind start to get a little bit more racy. Battle for fourth underway currently. That's Vincent Sora and John Forbes. They're on top of one another, and they are the closest battle for position currently, as the 7 trying to rip the top, the 15 trying to stay low. These two drivers are trying to find a footing. Who will be the finisher in the top 5, as Gavin Rogers wants to put his hat into this battle. This once was the challengers of championships for the last few years, for the last few seasons. And now it's John Forbes, Vincent Sora. These two have had a historic challenge and battles between one another in multiple different leagues. It's usually John Forbes that takes the advantage when it comes to the championships between these two, but Vincent Sora, though, wants to get the last lap here in the WSSR. He was the one that was able to stay out of the 7, but he could see these haymakers. They're going back and forth and into the wall. It's the 7. Didn't have the grip for that move, but Forbes keeps his foot in the throttle and continues to stay at least decently close.
Ooh, Forbes just threw the car into the turn there and just did not have the grip to let it stick. Hard smack to the outside wall. You can see the damage on the right front nose of the number 7 machine, and then Vincent Sora just able to drive right back around him, but Forbes is going to stay out, see what he can do, and see if he can't basically limp this car around the rest of the race, as Gavin Rogers is now throwing his hat up there like you were saying. He's trying to catch up to the number 7 now as well.
So he's a chance for a top 5 finish to end off this season. It's been kind of a weird one for the one machine of Gavin Rogers. I mean, for the longest time, it was a question of could he even find a top 5. And for Rogers here tonight, could find himself grabbing his second top 5 of the season. His other top 5 was a win at Auto Club. This would certainly be a boost to say, well, at least I finished off the season on a high note for this one machine. And it's been a rough season overall for himself. John Forbes over the radio saying, I might have went a little bit too far with that move. I would say so. With the way that he smashed the wall, that was a little bit too much of a haymaker that he went for. 14 laps to go in this season, and for the league of the WSSR Cup Series, Ryan Kelly, his competition ahead of him is starting to pull away. It's over a second now. The competition behind him is losing ground even quicker. It's over 5 now, almost 6 seconds to Jarrett Talmadge that just doesn't have the grip anymore for the 27. And he'll come away and just think of the what ifs as he will move from second in points back to third with 13 laps to go for Jake Nichols.
Jake Nichols, this is a heartbreak race for himself, is just not able to get the time down. 3/10 slower than that of Ryan Kelly, who he really needs to get by to have a chance, but he also needs to get around Jake Nichols as well. But Nichols is just on rails tonight. I mean, he's back to his speed. He's back to his form that we have seen him all season until the cars swap. It's good to see him back out on top, but this is a what-if situation for himself if he could have had a stronger start to this chase.
Yeah, I mean, similar to a lot of drivers that missed out on a championship here in the WSSR where the gap was too big. Needed some help, needed some misfortune, and 12 laps to go. The question is, will a late caution come out? I'm looking at the drivers that are still out there on track. A lot of them are known for making sure that they don't make mistakes. So we're not expecting a late caution. Last time we really had any cautions were the short tracks. Last week in Wilkesboro, New Hampshire, these 1.5 miles, also the 2-mile courses, we have not seen cautions be thrown. It's down to mistakes at this point in time, but the field, they are seeing the sun setting. And Jake Nichols, you look at the statistics, this guy was number 1 or tied with number 1 in almost every stat possible. Entered into the chase, he had the most poles, he had the most wins, he had the most top 5s, in the most top 10s, but coming into tonight, 17 starts, 7 poles, 6 wins. I make it 7 here tonight based on where he's running. 14 top 5s, and of his 17 starts, every single one of them was in the top 10. We knew just based off of the name of Jake Nichols, he's been in the Coke Series. It was formerly known as the Peak Antifreeze Series, being a pro driver in iRacing. This guy has won in every league that he's raced in. He's done exactly what we expected, but I think falling short for this championship was the most shocking thing of this season if it finishes out where the drivers are at right now.
Yeah, definitely a shocker for the season as well with that kind of pedigree to your name. I mean, a Coke Pro driver, antifreeze, Peak Antifreeze Coke Pro driver here on iRacing. I mean, that's a huge portfolio to have on yourself. But I mean, he still had a very, very dominant season. I mean, 7 wins potentially if he could finish it out tonight. 7 poles. That is just a star-studded season for himself. It's just, I think the car swap has really thrown him for a loop, and he just wasn't able to get, the footing or the experience down. Like a lot of these other drivers have kind of already knew about this car because of the season that they did run it, the 2 seasons they ran it before.
Yeah, this past season being season 7 and 8, where we saw Ben Nelson, who also was a former former Peak Antifreeze Pro driver back in the day. Nelson going back-to-back in those championship runs before he stepped away from running in the WSSR Cup Series, and got to see season 9 to 11. A lot of contenders stepped up. We got to see drivers get their first championship, and tonight we get to crown a new one. 7 laps to go. And before tonight, there were only 7 champions. After tonight, we will have 8 that have been crowned in the WSSR Cup Series presented by Elwood Designs. And Nichols looks strong, but the question that always will be looming, will a caution pop up here late with everyone pushing as aggressively as they can? We've seen drivers break loose. Can everyone keep their car pointed in the right direction to finish out this race as another lap goes down for Nichols?
Yeah, because if you see the points, if you add 2 to Jake Nichols' points down there on the bottom of your screen, that puts him at a 2-point deficit to Ryan Kelly. If a caution comes out and we see Ryan Kelly fall back like he normally does on the early starts of a run, unless he pulls that short run speed that we hope that he has, I mean, all that is just 2 more positions. Nichols would have to finish 3 cars plus the win in front of Ryan Kelly in order to take this championship. So right now, Nichols is hoping for a caution and that Ryan Kelly does just not have that short run pace.
And cautions have been the detriment to Jake Nichols. I mean, look back to the beginning of this chase at New Hampshire. Jake Nichols was leading that race by over 10 seconds, but a late caution, a late tire call put him back around 6th position, and he never was able to recover. And that win went to Ryan Kelly. 2nd place went to Jared Talmadge, and it just turned into a snowball factor where this 73 was never able to get that win that probably would have solidified him as the championship driver that everyone had to run down and chase for tonight. Not the case. The what ifs will mount, but with Canal coming up to these laps ticking away, 4 more laps to go for the 3 machine of Ryan Kelly.
4 more to go. That's what you want to hear, but you want to see that white flag, because once the white flag falls, there will be no caution and the race will be official. So Ryan Kelly, this is going to be the longest 3 laps of his life, just waiting and hoping that no caution comes out and he can just maintain his position. That trophy is within his grasp with only 3 laps to go as Jake Nichols crosses the line now. 3 laps to go in season 12 of the WSSR.
3 laps to go for the 3 machine Ryan Kelly that wants to be crowned a champion. These playoffs, he has found himself with 2 wins. Now going to be with just 1 pole. 5 top 5s over 5 top 10s over these 5 races entering tonight. The 3 machine has averaged a 1.8 finishing position in the chase, and he's running in 2nd. Jake Nichols off the exit turn number 4, looks up at the flag stand. He's going to get 2 obstacle sticks. It is 2 laps to go for the 73 to get a 7th win of the season, but it won't be enough for a championship as he exits out of 2.
Exiting out of 2 down the backstretch. It is just 2 laps to go in this race. He is hoping to see that yellow light first, but I don't know if that's going to happen as he rounds turn 3 and 4 on the outside. Ryan Kelly still holding strong there in 2nd place as Jake Nichols comes around and gets ready to take the white flag as it's flying from the flag stand. 1 lap to go.
It's your Sim Precision Prince white flag for Jake Nichols and for Ryan Kelly. You look at the history books of the WSSR. Season 1, it went to Brian P. Johnson. Larry Yingling was the first driver to go back-to-back in Season 2 and 3. Season 4, we came back after a 1.5-year hiatus. Vincent Sora went back-to-back, winning Season 4 and 5. Yingling made his great return to be the Season 6 champion. Ben Nelson won Season 7 and 8 back-to-back. Then it was Zach Hall, John Forbes, Gavin Rogers. Tonight, Jake Nichols takes the win, but marked the 8th champion of the WSSR Cup Series. It's the 3 of Ryan Kelly.
Ryan Kelly did exactly what he needed to do tonight, kept a consistent run, and just followed Jake Nichols to his win. The number 3 machine able to score enough points, and he will hoist the championship trophy for season 12.
Ryan Kelly has been here full time since season 7. He watched the dominance of Ben Nelson. He saw the opportunities fade away of other championship chances where he's been the favorite. But season 12, when the doors are being shut on a league, the 3 stepped up in the chase and found his way, finishing in the top 2 out of the 6 races that ran. 5 of them he was in the top 2 finishing positions, and his worst finish of the chase was 3rd. This 3 proved that consistency was the factor to win the championship, and he was consistent all the way through. Enjoy this one, Ryan Kelly. You are a World Series of Sim Racing champion, and you are joining the ranks of some of the best and some of the greatest, and the 3 gets to burn it down. as he gets to have his fun. I mean, Richard, what a season it's been. Jake Nichols, obviously, every statistic he won, but he made the mistakes that gave an opportunity for this 3, and he conquers.
Yeah, phenomenal chase for the number 3. And again, Jake Nichols, he had the pace, he had the speed, he had the stats. Just unfortunate mistakes, unfortunate events, and just unable to take up enough points. The number 3, again, a fantastic chase performance from Ryan Kelly in that Cody Glenn Cox machine.
I also want to give kudos to Jared Talmadge. We'll talk to our top 3, who are the top 3 in points. That's going to be Jake Nichols, Ryan Kelly, and Jared Talmadge. But Talmadge, his stats this season were just as crazy as Jake Nichols. Didn't have the wins. He got his first one last week at North Wilkesboro, but that 27 was tied with the top 5 finishes with Jake Nichols at 15 this season, and as well finished second with 17 top 5s to Jake Nichols' 18 top 10s this season. Crazy stats all around by our top 3. But for us of the booth, we will step away. Your winner is Jake Nichols for the race, but your champion of season 12 is the 3 of Ryan Kelly. When we come back, it's the post-race show. We'll talk to our champ. We'll talk to our winner. We'll talk to the driver that wishes that it all went differently. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what could be the final post-race show of the WSSR Cup Series presented by Elwood Designs. Season 12 had over 18 races, and at the end, it was 6 points being the difference of our top 3 entering tonight. After tonight, it's still going to be dropped down to just a 4-point difference between those top 3. But standing tall as he was just able to finish out at the end. All he had to do was keep Jake Nichols ahead of him, and his championship was his. We've got the 3 machine of Ryan Kelly, your World Series of Sim Racing Cup Series champion for season 12. Ryan Kelly with us. Ryan, all you had to do was have a good race. You did it, and you are a champion. How are you feeling?
Man, I cannot believe this. I was sweating there when Jared got the pole and the start of the session there, and he was quick there in the beginning, and was watching Jake and trying to keep up with them, and I just can't believe it all worked out, and just over the whole chase, racing those 2 guys and all the ups and downs that we went through here, with just not knowing who's going to come out with it. So yeah, I don't even have words. I can't believe it.
Yeah, Ryan, just a phenomenal chase run for yourself. Average finish of 1.8 basically over the one of the 6 races, finishing second tonight, securing your championship trophy. I mean, even right now in hoisting the trophy for the championship, you have stayed calm in every single interview. What is your key to just staying calm in every situation?
I don't know. It's definitely a lot calmer after the race when I don't have to do it. How quick these guys are, but yeah, just trying to stay calm because I think that's one of the most important things to racing these guys that are so quick is not overthinking it, and just trying to be calm and taking every lap individually as it comes. And yeah, just worked out in this chase here. We really found something. I'm not sure what it is, but it seemed like us three were just racing each other each and every week. And yeah, I can't believe we did it.
I mean, Ryan, it all started off in this chase with that incredible finish at New Hampshire, the 7/1000ths of a second finish over Jarrett, that you just carried that momentum on into tonight. What was it like seeing from that race, each race building to this moment? What was it like? Did you feel pressure was mounting that you had to succeed each and every week, or were you just trying to keep calm each week that went by throughout this chase?
Yeah, I was just trying to keep calm. I really wasn't as confident as I was in the chase at the start of the season. I think just not running as good and having those computer issues and just not everything at 100%. And then once the chase started and that first race there shook up some things and just race by race builded the confidence. And this last 2 races here when these guys really stepped it up, I was definitely nervous, but yeah, just tried to stay calm and it worked out.
Well, Ryan, we don't know when the WSSR will come back. We know that they're shutting their doors. Any final thoughts that you have on this season in your whole entire WSSR career since you've been here? You did those one-off races back in season 2 and 3, and then you've been full time since season 7.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, and been racing a lot of these guys for 5, 6 years, and I know some of them have been racing together even longer. And the World Series of Sim Racing here is just such a competitive group of people, and the racing shows every week how good it is, and the drivers are just so top class. And I'm definitely going to miss it. Looking forward to every Wednesday, and really happy that I could close it out here after trying for so long on top.
Well, Ryan, before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, just the Cody Glencock's music racing team, and my teammates Larry, Brian, and Chris. And also shout out to James Heater for helping me with my computer throughout the season. And you guys in the booth, definitely gonna miss watching every Wednesday, and looking forward to racing and watching the show and the competitors over all the years, and everyone for watching every week, and looking forward to maybe come back in the future.
And we hope to see it come back in the future. But Ryan, it's been a pleasure to watch you finally get a playoffs and a chase to finally go your way. We know you've always had the speed to be contender, and it is a proud moment to see you get this championship with all the hard work that you put in. Congratulations. Enjoy this one wherever you go in the future. We know you're going to find success, Ryan. And congratulations once again to our WSSR Cup Series champion for season 12. It's the 3 of Ryan Kelly. Ryan, enjoy this one. And we can't wait to see whatever successes you find in your future.
Hell yeah. Thanks, guys. Shout out to my family, too.
That will be the 3 machine of Ryan Kelly. Comes away second here tonight, but ultimately the championship. And we go up to the victor of tonight's race, but we'll come up second in the championship of Jake Nichols. Jake, you did everything right practically tonight. I think you just needed a couple of more bonus points, and you maybe you could have tied, but you come away second, 2 points behind Ryan. How are you feeling? Because that was an excellent performance to grab the win here tonight.
I feel good. I mean, I just wanted to come out here and win, and if he still won, then he did a good job. Obviously, we were the class of the field. I felt Jarrett had a shot, but I think one of those runs he kind of pitted a little later and maybe burnt his stuff up trying to catch us, and it just didn't work out. But at the end of the day, we ran good. Everybody at Lucky Ducks did a great job all season, and it's a little disappointing, especially knowing some of the races, how they ended up and how we lost points versus Ryan gaining points. But it happens, it's racing, and he obviously did a good job in the chase there, and everything worked out. That's what it takes sometimes in racing, is just things working out and playing to your strats. And in your speed, and sometimes it doesn't. It didn't work out for us, but either way, I'm glad we came out with at least another win. And I was having fun there in the last few laps. I was just trying to see how close I could get to the wall sometimes without hitting it. I didn't care about speed at that point with like 5 to go. I was like, let's have some fun with it, see if we can get right on it, and just do the whole Homestead Larson line. But either way, it was a fun night overall, just driving and racing around there.
Yeah, Jake, again, another phenomenal performance run for yourself. I mean, you had a historic run this entire season, 7 poles and 7 wins for yourself. I mean, did switching over to the Legacy Gen 4 affect maybe a chance at better points or the way you performed?
I don't think it affected me as a driver. I think it's just it kind of made us all similar speed. So it kind of made it really important to keep your tires on it for the whole stint rather than, try to get a little bit out of them the last 10 or 15. If you try to use them, you then burnt them. And it's crazy how, like, even just pushing a little bit too early. I noticed that the second to last run there, where I pushed it a little too early and he started reeling me back in. And the whole run or the whole night, I was faster long run. And just that one little, like, push too early, and then all of a sudden he's faster. And that's really the difference in this with this tire model in this car. It's why I'm not really a fan of the tire, and I'm glad that we've kind of deviated away from that for the most part. But either way, I mean, it's fine. We ran the best we could all season, and I mean, we won races in both cars. So it just didn't work out in the chase, and you'll have that. I mean, there's plenty of guys in the real world, I mean, that go dominate or lead throughout most of the regular season, and just things don't work out in the playoffs or the chase system, and you'll have that sometimes. But yeah, he did a great job. It's nothing to take anything from him. He obviously performed when it mattered, and even luck or not, he still ran really great. I mean, he finished first, second in there in the chase, and another second. So he obviously clutched up when it mattered and did what he needed to do.
Well, Jake, end of this season, you're basically number one in every statistic. It is probably one of the best rookie seasons someone could have asked for. But what was it like coming into this season to where you are now? What was it like getting to race with these guys and get to learn, and maybe a different group of drivers that you never raced with?
It was interesting. Just trying to see what people, you always try to see what guys do, short run, long run. If they're the kind of guy that move up the track a little earlier than everybody else or wait longer than everyone else. And it's definitely interesting. I had to try to learn dirty air a little bit the first half of the season. I felt like I was pretty good at it. Obviously, there was plenty of times where I burnt my tires up and I would just give whoever was behind me catching me dirty air. But that kind of got erased with this car. We didn't really have that, so it was just all the same speed, and you just really had to take advantage of saving tires and really just using them the right way. Not necessarily like going slower to save them, but just not battling other cars. But it was fun. I had a great time racing, especially with the Lucky Ducks guys and seeing what they were. I've raced with John Forbes, but the others I haven't really raced much around. So it was interesting to see and try to learn, and also try to help them out sometimes too. I knew Jarrett, was going to be. I had a feeling about Jarrett like 3 races into the season, 4 races in, and I was like, you might have a shot at the title here. And obviously the chase proved that. He was right there with us and leading me or ahead of me before tonight. But overall, it's a great time with everyone here at WSSR.
I mean, it was a pleasure to get to see you out there on track, Jake. I've seen you in many of other leagues and doing pro racing. You certainly are a world-class talent of a driver. Thanks for joining the WSSR this season. We appreciate you being out there on track. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any other shout-outs.
Well, shout out to everyone at WSSR for putting these races on. Obviously, it's a shame it won't be back for a while, but either way, it was a great time racing with everyone here. And thanks to everyone at Lucky Ducks Motorsports. And we got Stand Up to Cancer, No Kid Hungry, JWR Race Cars, Tiltify, AmeriCares, Wounded Warrior Project, and Coddle Chassis, among others on the car. And thanks to everyone here on the broadcast. You guys do a great job. It's always fun going back and listening. And thanks to Elwood Designs, obviously, for sponsoring, and everyone that had their hand in the series and the league, and even all the drivers that signed up and stuck with it the whole season, no matter the pace. It's nice to see people not give up and keep driving, keep racing, and at the end of the day, we're all here to race, and so it's nice to see that. And hopefully, we'll be back sometime, and I'll try to be back and hopefully win next time.
Well, if there's a next time, I hope you do show up, Jake. You did a fantastic job this season with the most wins of 7 here in season 12. Also tied with the most top 5s, most top 10s with 15 top 5s, 18 top 10s. He did not finish out of the top 10 once this season. Jake, congratulations on the win here tonight. Enjoy it and good luck in whatever racing you have in the future.
Thank you.
As that will be your winner here tonight in the 73 of Jake Nichols. Again, coming up second overall in the point standings. The driver that comes away third in the point standings here tonight. And third on track is Jarrett Talmadge. Jarrett, I talked to you. Your confidence wasn't high, but you got goal number 1 solidified with the pole. Just everything else kind of unraveled after that. How are you feeling after tonight's performance and this season overall?
Yeah, unravel's a pretty good word there. It kind of did from lap 30 on. I mean, I'm pretty happy finishing third, 4 points off the title. I think tied for most top 5s and just one off of the most top 10s there with Jake. Obviously, not quite the wins that him and Ryan had, but I mean, I didn't quite get the wins, but I feel like I was probably the most consistent out of all 3 of us when it came to just finishing good and getting points. And I think that's what kind of put me in the chance to win the title. And then it just it went off the rails a little bit there from lap 30, and we never got it back on.
Yeah, Jared, still a phenomenal race for yourself. I mean, you did everything right you needed to do. You got up front, you led the lap, you started on pole, you got the bonus points you needed. Just the pace just seemed it wasn't there in the second half of the field. Do you think there's anything you could have changed to maybe got that pace back up to contention for the lead?
I mean, you can always look back at it and be like, I could have did that different, and there's definitely things I could have. I think the second stint kind of cemented my race. I tried to save tire, and I kind of should have. I contradicted myself. I shouldn't have, because in this car, saving tire doesn't really provide that much of an advantage since we switched. And once I started to push again, I pushed too hard. Then I overheated them because I thought I had more tire than I did. And from there on, I was just on the back foot. And I'd say the third stint, I really found something. And I think I kind of followed John there for a little bit. And I think I found the line that was probably the fastest line at the time to the end of the race. But I was so far back at that point. I mean, I tried to undercut to just get ahead of Ryan, because if I could have just got ahead of him and held him off for a little bit, then Jake gets there and we maybe duke it and burn our tires, and I could still have a shot, or at least, help a teammate win it. But I don't really think there was much more I could do. Homestead's not one of my great tracks on iRacing, but then again, I said that about Wilkesboro last week and I won. So it's tough, but like I said, you can always look back and say you should have did something different.
I mean, Jarrett, coming into the season, you were one of the drivers in the offseason. Everyone said, watch out for this 27. I know that was with a different car, a different build, but I think that standpoint still holds strong. I mean, you were a driver that we have seen step up over these last couple of years in different leagues that we've watched. What was it like for yourself personally, seeing yourself grow as a driver to be in this opportunity for a championship here tonight?
I mean, it's nice to see to like all the I don't really run much laps, to be fair, but like when I'm in VC with people who I know are much better than me, I tend to listen on what they say they're doing and how they're doing it, and then when I do run laps, I try it, and it works or it doesn't. So I mean, it's like I said, it's nice to see the growth go. To race people that probably 2 years ago were whooping my ass, sorry for my French, but it's nice to be able to now beat them and compete with them, and constantly run top 5. I mean, 15 out of 15 out of 18 races I finished 5th or better, and I think a lot of those were probably top 3s too. So just to know that I've really improved over the last year and a half is great. But I mean, in the end, it does suck not coming away with the championship.
It certainly does, but it still was a remarkable season for yourself, Jared. I mean, up there challenging Jake Nichols and some of the statistics in top 5s and top 10s over this season. Congratulations on being up there and having your name next to a guy like that. But before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, I'd really like to put a big shout out there to all of the admins who have run WSSR since it's been running. I know it's been around a lot longer than I have in iRacing, but the last 2 years I've really enjoyed running it with everybody and meeting new people and following people and improving just off of other people beating me and seeing what they're doing. And this league was probably, if I had to say, was probably the main area where I learned to be better on iRacing and as a driver. So I'll always be thankful for that. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting this league and providing great coverage and uh, good times going back and watching the races and seeing what you guys had to say. Shout out to all my teammates this season. There's way too many of them to name, so I'll just shout out to all of them. And congrats to Ryan in the championship. You drove a hell of a season.
That will be the 27 machine of Jarrett Talmadge. Comes away third in the points, but just 4 points back from that championship. Jarrett, it was an incredible season. A good one to look back on. I can't wait to see how you grow even more of a driver in the upcoming years. Congratulations on a third place here tonight. Enjoy it, and good luck in whatever racing you go on moving forward.
Thank you.
As that is the 27 of Jarrett Talmadge. Usually at this point, we would move to our unofficial results, but we're actually going to bring in the admins of the WSSR Cup Series. We've got ourselves Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, Zach Hall with us. Guys, I don't know who to ask the question to first. All three of you are here. Well, I guess we'll start off with Zach. What was it like this season? I know you guys are closing shop, but man, what a successful season 12 from where it felt like 8 races ago.
Yeah, it's been a wild season for sure for us as an admin group. It's been one of the easier sides from like incident things because we haven't really had to mess with none of that. So thank you to all the drivers being super clean this season. We know the numbers have been down, of course, that probably helps, but everybody was very cordial with the racing and giving room with these harder cars to drive. But it is it's going to be it's tough to see it go right now, but I'm telling you, you never know how things can work out. Maybe in the future we come back. We've had a hiatus before, but I just want to thank everybody. Really, that's the biggest thing. And also, congrats to Ryan Kelly, also Jake Nichols and Jarrett. They put on a hell of a show, man, for this chase. So I really, really want to thank them for finishing out with a grand finale there for us, so to say, and making it close all the way down to the end. And again, thank you guys up in the booth for everything y'all have done. Y'all have been awesome here since day one, Freaky Fast, and always will be Freaky Fast. So, yeah, thank you guys for that. And yeah, I'll just, I guess, leave the floor to the other admins. But yeah, thank you to everybody.
We'll give it over to Vinny. Vincent, we'll go down the order. We'll let you go for next on this one.
Yeah, no, I just kind of like Zach said, just wanted to thank everybody for making this possible. This season for myself wasn't really anything to write home about, but I had a lot of fun tonight, and there were a lot of weeks where I did have fun. Just didn't have the results, but yeah, just overall, since we came back in 2022, this league was really important to me. It's probably the most important league that I've ever been a part of. It's where I kind of really started to find some success and have a lot of confidence in myself as a driver, and feel like I kind of made a name for myself. And I'm super proud of, I haven't been an admin over here the whole time, but from just what Zach and Cedric and Brian back in the day, and Larry and anybody who's ever helped out over here has built. This is an incredible legacy, and it's pretty sad to shut the door on it, but we have a lot to be proud of and just a lot to be thankful for.
And yeah, so sorry. I'll just cut in right here. Again, I'll piggyback off of what Zach and Vinny just mentioned. Shout out to basically all the chase or everybody that showed up, honestly, this season. Put on probably our closest finishes on a weekly basis. Bunch of photo finishes. It was a great season to watch and be a fan of. And also just shout out to you, kind of going back to, not just this season, but to everybody, man. We had 221 drivers over the last 12 seasons. So shout out to every single person that made a start, to Brian and Larry, and Larry as well for being admins and working with us for seasons, for many seasons. They put just as much work into it as we did, just maybe not as much of it this season or the last couple, but they sacrificed just as much as we did for a good portion of it. So thank you to them, to you guys, to Richard as well for this season, man. We had Lee at the beginning helping you guys out. We had Trevor and a couple other guys too to kind of shout them out. And thank you to all the fans out there for tuning in on a weekly basis, man. It's gonna suck not to have anything for Wednesdays, but I'm gonna look forward to the extra time.
I know I'm going to throw Richard under the bus because I know he wasn't prepared for this one. But Richard, you got any questions for the admins before we call it here tonight?
Oh man, no, I just I gotta say, you guys, 12 seasons. It's a really, really great run for any league throughout all of iRacing. I mean, you guys have made an amazing community here. I've been thankful to be on the track with you guys as well. I was looking forward to next season to getting out of booth, being back on track. So it was a little heartbreaking to hear that news, but either way, it's been fun up here being in the booth with Sam, calling you guys for the past 3 seasons. It's been enjoyable. So I thank you guys for the opportunity to be able to race and to be able to call you guys out on track.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. The last thing before I guess we get out here, just shout out to Cedric there, because huge shout out to the other admins. You know, those guys were huge credit. Also, Bobby, he was one of the original owners. He knows his name. He's out there. Shout out to him from the very start back in 2020. That's crazy to say how far this thing has gone, but yeah, just huge shout out to them, all the drivers, everybody made it happen, and all the sponsors too. So, you know, there was a lot of big helps, a lot of different companies, a lot of different entrepreneurs, and just people who wanted to help out, you know, and donate money to the league and stuff like that. So it was a huge help, and it's sad to see it close. But like I said, this is not the end of the book. You know, we're just gonna close it for this time. You know, there'll be another in the series, so to say. So we'll see what we got in the future.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming up here, saying any final thoughts. I'll throw it up one more time. Do you guys have anything else, or are we good? All right, I'll take that as a good.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thanks guys for coming up. We will now continue on with our usual post-race of taking a look at our unofficial results here tonight and where drivers are going to be finding themselves finishing out in the last race here tonight. Now, as well as we're going through this, I'm going to let Robert know. Robert, you better get your microphone ready because I am going to throw it to you before we call it a night. So you can have your final thoughts. But I thought I would also give you a little bit of warning on that. But Jake Nichols is going to come away with the win here tonight. But in second place, the championship will be crowned to Ryan Kelly in the 3 machine. Behind them, third place runner will be Jarrett Talmadge. Vincent Sora will take fourth, with Gavin Rogers getting his second top 5 of the season. I know that feels good for the 1 machine. And then in sixth, we find the 8 of Brian McCann, John Forbes, the 7 with the numbers lining up in 7th. Thomas Green will take 8th. 9th goes to Ollie Fonseca, and finishing out our top 10 is the 13 of Cedric Hunter.
Returning to the track, the 28, Brian P. Johnson finishing in 11th. A great run for himself. Christopher Norris also coming back out on track. Nick Crawford, Tyler Dingler, Nicholas Renner. Thank you guys for coming out for the final race this season. I mean, Larry Yingling, he had, you know, again, doing his long run strategies. Chuck Sweeting also finishing up there in the 12th. Just a great run from all the drivers, and yet another caution-free race to end this season out.
I also want to give a big shout out to the Lucky Duck out there in chat for a super chat of $5. We appreciate that. All super chats go to us here up in the broadcast booth and gives us really helps us fund to continue on giving you great broadcasts. As what a season it's been. Crazy to say. This season is over. Season 12, it certainly had its highs, its lows, car changes in the middle, but after this race is over 38 drivers attempted to race here this season, over 18 races, and it came down to 1 driver, Ryan Kelly, taking the victory and gets it done here, finishing off an incredible chase at Homestead. A wild one overall, but before we get to our final thoughts to Richard, we're going to send it over to Robert. Robert, I know this league is our longest tenure league for Freaky Fast, covering over 171 races of the too many races to count. It's over 180 plus races that have been ran. 171 were called here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and you were behind every single one of those. What is it like to watch a league grow to where it's at? And we're closing the book after 12 seasons.
Well, it's awesome to see the league grow from where it started at, and how these drivers and sponsors, and like they were saying, everybody coming up, and I can't believe it that, I mean, we've been here from day one. I produced and commentated with a whole bunch of different people since the beginning. It's kind of strange to say that. So, it's bittersweet, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's tough to see it go, but I get why it's going. But like Zach said, they got to take a break right now, and hopefully drivers, do understand it and come back when they do come back. Me and Zach were joking around last night, or actually on Monday night. He said about maybe 2029. Probably we'll see everybody back. So, but yeah, Sam, thanks for the guys and the league letting us commentate this and broadcast it. It's been fun, man. So, and thank you to you guys too, being here week in and week out. And man, well, I don't know what else to say, but I got to find something to do on Wednesday nights.
It's going to be a weird one, seeing what's new on Wednesday nights. And Richard, before we call it a close for us, the floor is yours for any final thoughts here with the WSSR.
Oh man, the admins, they did a great job with this league. It's, a high attendance league every single season. The drivers put on a phenomenal show. This is not something, it was not a lighthearted decision for them to make. It is an exciting race tonight as well, watching Ryan Kelly getting his first championship finally. And they like, one thing a lot of people like to say, it's like, it's not to be sad that it's leaving, but to be happy that it happened. So, and again, it's been a blast up here in the booth, and it was a blast out on the track. So look forward to when these guys decide that it's time to come back.
Yeah, they're going to come back at some point. I don't see these guys closing it forever, but if it is the ending, what a story 12 seasons have been. The WSSR has been around. They were established back in 2019. Their first race, February 15th of 2020. They went for 3 seasons that whole entire year. The last race of season 3 was November 28th of 2020. And then decided, let's take a break. Let's not be an admins. Let's not run a league anymore. And after a year and a half, another league shutting down, Freaky Fast needed a new home for a Cup Series. And in Season 4, May 7th of 2022, WSSR reopened its doors. And from Season 4 to tonight of Season 12, we have been giving you the call on Saturdays. Then we transitioned to Wednesdays, and we've been here for a long time on Wednesday nights. We've been doing this for a while. We've had plenty of different voices that have been giving you the calls, but we are so appreciative to everyone that's been here since maybe the beginning. Maybe you joined just tonight. We don't care how long you've been. We are appreciative that you've been here for a part of this incredible journey. But for tonight, we want to say thank you for joining with us on your Wednesday evening. If you're rewatching it, thank you for rewatching the memories that we will continue to go back to. But for myself, Sam Dyer, for Richard Wolsifer, and for Robert Moyer, thank you for spending your Wednesday night with us. It was a pleasure to give you the calls and give you the thrills, the wild finishes. We've had finishes that were directly lined up. You had to go to the 4th digit to even see who won that race. We had this season the 7/1000ths of a finish by Ryan Kelly that took the victory at New Hampshire. And tonight, Jake Nichols gets the win, but it's the 3 that takes the crown. So many opportunities we are proud to give you here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, but the WSSR Cup Series Season 12, we don't know when it will come back, if it will ever come back, but it's the end of an era, end of a chapter. We're excited for what is new to come. For us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we got more racing action as we picked up a brand new league. If you saw us Monday night with the Lone Star Racing Group, they're taking the Gen 6 cars racing around NASCAR circuits. That is going to be our new weekly home. don't want to miss out. You heard Zach Hall earlier during the interviews. It's going to be Zach and myself giving you the calls on Mondays. But Richard, it's been a pleasure to have you up in the booth with me on Wednesday nights. It's always crazy when you look back at the history books and how long we've been doing this. It's been awesome to see you grow as a commentator and see our chemistry get better each and every week. I'm going to give you one last hurrah before we get out of here. But man, it's been a pleasure to give you the calls here Wednesday nights.
Yeah, Sam, it has been a pleasure being up here in the booth, and it's been great to try to build up the broadcasting skills a little bit up here with Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I've moved over from doing it on stream to doing it with some other games, tournaments, to bringing over to iRacing, my love of racing from when I was young to now being in a booth calling some iRacing races has been a blast. It has been fun. I appreciate the opportunity and, look forward to maybe some future time with you guys up here.
I cannot wait for it. But for us here tonight, we got to crown a champion back in season 1 for Brian P. Johnson. Larry Yingling went back-to-back for season 2 and 3. Vincent Sora took it for season 4 and 5, being the second driver to go back-to-back. Larry Yingling then came back to get his 3rd championship in season 6. Ben Nelson, making his start, goes to back-to-back for season 7 and 8. Zach Hall, he finally hoists his championship in season 9. John Forbes, after so many attempts to even make the finals, his first time he gets there, he takes the championship in season 10. Last season, we got to see Gavin Rogers finally say that he's a champion. And tonight, Ryan Kelly takes the last one, potentially, of the WSSR Cup Series. Welcome to the history books. The 3 machine of Ryan Kelly is your season 12 champion. Enjoy it, Ryan, and wherever you go, can't wait to see what other championships you can find. But for us up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we can't wait to give you more racing coverage. It's next week, the Lone Star Racing League. We'll see you Monday night for our next Freaky Fast broadcast.
I was standing, staying still, never said what I feel, and every time I took the blame, carried all this quiet shame. 'Cause all the pressure in my chest, I've gotta fight to catch my breath, when every step still feels the same, trying not to break. Where do I go from here? Maybe I'll disappear. If I don't try, I'll never know. I'm waiting on you. Where do I go from here? There will be no more tears. Kill the doubt, feed the fire, hear the voice inside. It's my turn this time. They took a shot, now I want mine. You fall, I rise, I take the wheel. So this is how it feels. Where do I go from here? Maybe I'll disappear. If I don't try,